So for this season 18 premiere, we are doing the similar names, different games. In particularly with the 16-bit era Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis out there. Introducing the panel for tonight, we got Sir Jose.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Timeless Gamer Show, season 18, and we are here to talk 6 games that came out both for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, but they are not the same game. And we're here to talk about them and see which one we liked better and all that.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jose. And of course, Sir Juan.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show Season 18 kickoff. We are talking about 6 games released on both Genesis and SNES. We are going to compare the two, and hope you guys stick around.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Juan. And of course, the one who suggested this challenge, of course, Sir Viraj.
All right, let's bring it. Yep, as the two gents before me said, well, they said Genesis, I say Mega Drive. We all know it's the same console. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about same game, same name, different game, I should say. So on this platform, the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo. So it should gear up to be a very interesting episode. Be interesting to hear your suggestions in the comment sections if you played these games or if you're interested in these games or any thoughts that you might have. But this will be a very interesting episode because, well, it's fun. And that's really it. But yeah, right. So let's begin since I've sort of suggested this episode. I say sort of, I think it was me all along. Let's start with the first game in our lineup, and the first game is Alien 3. Now, I'm sure we've all seen the movie. I'm sure everyone was disappointed to some extent to how the film went, but that's another story altogether. I like the film. Alien 3 is a guilty pleasure for me. Okay, the more times I watch it, the more I enjoy it. It's the assembly cut, not the theatrical release. But obviously, like all things that came out in the movies or that were popular, they made a video game of it. And there were a number of video games for Alien 3. We're talking obviously about the specific Mega Drive release versus the Super Nintendo one. Now, we'll first talk about the Mega Drive version. That came out in 1992 by Probe Software. Interesting that the Super Nintendo was also developed by Probe Software as well. So same developer as well. So there were 2 succinct different games. So I set the gentlemen in the panel and myself, I suppose, a challenge to play these games and have a thought in regards to what you thought of them. Now, with the Mega Drive game, as you can see here, or Genesis game, you can see it's like the credits, in terms of presentation, it's appearing like the Alien films have, like, step by step, it's the Alien 3 logo. And obviously, we can't show the soundtrack because, we don't want to get copyright strikes. But Matt Furness's soundtrack plays, and it's an outstanding soundtrack. And one thing I definitely love about the Mega Drive game is its soundtrack. You could always argue it doesn't suit the game because it's a bit too maybe trippy or whatever, or suit the whole fact that the aliens are terrifying. But art of the soundtrack, and again, it has a great way in how it plays, which we'll get to in a moment. But you have the presentation, you got a great soundtrack. The graphics are decent for what it is, albeit sort of dark and gritty, where you're going to get for this kind of game. The premise of this game, as I'm sure you're all aware who've played it, is basically a run and gun style game. You got a maze area, and you have to get through each level. You have to save all the hostages, find them all in a level before you get to the end. That's fundamentally it. It's quite a straightforward thing. Find the hostages, get to the exit before the time runs out, and that's the challenge. Can you get all the hostages in time? Obviously, you got the obstacles being the aliens themselves that are crawling around the corridors and the conduits, and you have to obviously get past them. Obviously, you have an arsenal of weapons. You got your pulse rifle, you got a grenade launcher, you got grenades, and you got a flamethrower as well. I think there might be another weapon as well, but that's it for the time being. And you can pick up extras on the way. But the idea is you get through the level, you get to the next level, and you got a zone. And after you get to that act, you then get to the next zone. I personally like this game. This is the first game that I was introduced. I played this before the Super Nintendo one, and I think it was a time. What I think is really special about the games that we're talking about, I think it's a time where you have, a different version on the platform that is going up against. I think there's something truly special about that. I don't think, obviously, that doesn't happen anymore. Obviously, if there's a game like Mortal Kombat 1, or that's actually a bad example, but if there's a specific game that's released, it's usually just a port onto another platform. So that's another thing. So, but again, this is a very, very special game for me since I played it, and it definitely is an adrenaline-fueled game. I like it a lot. I think it offers a lot to the player. It's just got a very hard difficulty in terms of getting to the exit as the game goes on, and you are going to die a lot. I found myself getting killed a lot and getting game over and have to start from the beginning and keep going again. But there's something about this game that makes me want to sort of keep going. So that's my thoughts in a nutshell about this game. What about you, Sir Jose? How did you get on with Alien 3?
Check my notes.
Dan, you written it down.
Let me see the Genesis one. Okay, first of all, the music is amazing. I can't remember what else Matt Furnace did, but he always comes up. I listen to this podcast where they listen to video game music, and he always comes up as someone that they constantly feature. So the music is really good. I thought it actually fit the game pretty well. But for me, it is hard. The aliens are so fast, and sometimes they just come out of nowhere. And then with that, when you get hit, man, that bitch takes forever to get back up.
Yeah, there's a bit of a pause, but she has to get back up.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm like, just get up already. Like, I want to get back to it. And sometimes there's like a couple aliens on the screen, and they're just like bouncing me back and forth, and I'm like, what not here?
There is a lot going on. There's a lot going on. You have to keep going. And it is, I think, the bit as a child playing this game, like, you can rage quit really easy, but you just have to keep going because, like, you got to play the game. That's it. Yeah. you got to get on with it. I haven't got much choice as a kid playing this, but just get on with it. But yes, it's annoying because, like, the aliens just come out of nowhere. They're fast in this game, as opposed to the Super Nintendo one, which we'll talk about in a moment. But so things you liked about this game, things you didn't like about this game.
I did like the music. The music is really good. The graphics are really good. They suit the Genesis. What I didn't like is just, it's a little too hard. Maybe I turned down the difficulty one.
No, it's understandable. Like, I when I go to the options, I put up to 9 lives when I play it because you are going to die. You are going to die. I mean, another thing that I don't like about this game is there's no password. There's no save. You have to play it in one run. This is how hardcore it was, and that's why years later they've actually had a ROM patch which has SRAM. They've put it on there, so those people who put it on their EverDrives now play it on their Mega Drives. Now they have the ROM with SRAM support, so it's actually much more forgiving. If they want to put the patch on, it's there for those guys listening in the comment section. And there are all sorts of patches to make it easier, but I don't care. The SRAM is the most important thing. You want to save at a certain point because it's quite a slog of a game. That's my main criticism of it. There should be a save point. Maybe after each zone, there should be a point where it saves, or a password system. There isn't one, sadly. But all right, interesting points there, Mr. Jose. What about yourself, Juan? How did you find the Genesis experience?
I mean, the Genesis experience was cool. Like I said, I agree with Jose. The fucking aliens were just hella fast. So I spent most of my time fucking on my ass getting back up. So I mean, usually the playthrough that I had was like literally I was running out of time. I had to start over.
Serious? Okay. Okay. So,
but I mean, with the Genesis version, like I said, I mean, I agree with Jose too. I mean, the music was good, and it does fit, the Genesis aspect.
I mean, it fits the style of game that it is, because somebody said to me it doesn't fit that alien vibe, but it fits the run and gun aspect. It gives you the energy, because this game is about time. You got a time there, haven't you? You're against the time. You need to save these sort of business, because if you don't finish it in time, you know what happens, right? I'm sure you see what happens. Like, you see that next clip, you see all the chest bursts going on. But yeah, fair enough. I mean,
I mean, but when it comes to like the music and stuff, I mean, everybody's gonna be biased. Like I mean, not everybody shows the passion and love for like gaming music, like us here.
yeah, I love music. Yeah.
So
Okay, it's fair enough. Well, that's interesting. So you didn't like the fact that it's what did just go over this again? What didn't you like and what did you like specifically?
I mean, I like the gameplay. I mean, granted, I mean it's a game, man. I mean, always gonna love games, but I mean, not really much of a dislike. I mean, it's more so me putting more time into it and like actually wanting to finish it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is with this game, because even though you're going to die a lot, it just makes you want to come back to it again because you want to beat the thing. You want to beat it.
I'm going to come back to it for sure. I mean, come back to it for sure and finish it.
Yeah, you got to save the hostages, man. So there's that aspect.
Fuck them,
right. So let's. I see Mr. M Bison wannabe in the corner there, nodding his head, pouting. I want to hear what he has to say about this game. So, Mr. Joe. So, Joe, let's hear your comments and what you thought about this game.
Joe Bison. Oh yeah.
Unmute the mic and let's see what you have to say.
Fuck this game.
You want to unmute the mic? You're still muted, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Guys, you know me. It has been documented before that I suck at these kind of games. Okay, I was never really into the 16-bit or the 8-bit era of video games that much. I mean, even at the time, I only had limited time just to play these, so I never really had the patience to just sit a lot of hours just to play a video game and last that long. That being said, Alien 3 for the Sega Mega Drive. I'll save it. I'll save my SNES comment for later, but first time I tried this one, it kind of reminded me of Castlevania / Metroid kind of gameplay. Lots of backtracking. If you really want to rescue, well, the premise of the game is basically rescuing all of the prisoners. Okay, and from the xenomorphs, the aliens, and a lot of backtracking. If you really want to get all of this, if you really want to rescue all of the hostages and get all of the weapon power ups or the health bonuses within a certain given time frame, then there's a good chance that you might really want to stick a few hours in this game. And unfortunately, you cannot really save, or there's not even much of a checkpoint, to my understanding, on this game. So if you're gonna play this on an actual Sega console, good luck. Okay, I mean, if you're gonna play this on an emulator, sure. Okay, I mean, hey, personally, I'm not gonna be the one judging you if you're gonna use some save states. I mean, you're gonna be needing this. Kudos to those people who were able to tolerate playing this game. I played this game without watching any walkthroughs, without reading anything. So I played this blind. So my tolerance level was only up to here. Okay, was only up to here, and sure, dying a few times, you'll eventually memorize where the first 2, 3, 4 hostages where to look. But in order for you to finish this game in its entirety, then you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of hours just trying to memorize where to go. This is one of those video games. And I'm gonna say this now, and I'm gonna say this a lot of times during this episode. Where the fuck do I go? This is where those that's one of those kind of games. Where the fuck do I go kind of games? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I said, if you don't watch any walkthroughs, watch or read any walkthroughs, then good luck, and have God may have mercy on your souls if you're gonna play this. Music, of course, it has that generic I'm not gonna say generic, but it has that signature Mega Drive feel, especially with the aesthetics. It's really dark and gritty, as the Alien franchise supposed to be. And I haven't really watched the Alien franchise 1, 2, 3, the movies. So I'm not really sure if all of the stuff that we're seeing right now in the gameplay is somewhat been translated from the movie, or at least some inspiration that came from Alien 3, the movie. Um, the gameplay itself, compared to the SNES one, here, if I'm assuming this is Ripley, Sigourney Weaver's character has gone bald, GI Jane kind of look.
Mhm.
Whenever she goes through a like a compartment, or those, what do you call those vents? Yeah, it kind of really reminds you of Metroid, really, because on the SNA, on the SNES one, it has none of that. It's just more platforming. We'll explain more that later when we showcase the SNES gameplay footage. But yeah, I think that's one of the a few of the key difference between the Mega Drive version versus the SNES version. And for what it's worth, I kind of like playing this
Hmm.
kind of format compared to the Super Nintendo one. And that is
Okay.
saying a lot, because because between the two, I suck playing both games, but I was able to, despite the difficulty, I was able to progress more on the Mega Drive version because I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more. I tolerated it a little bit more,
Hmm.
or I hated it the least compared to the Super Nintendo version.
That's
And
interesting. Really interesting.
and that is coming from me. Okay.
That's big coming from you, because I would have thought that you might have got on more with the Super Nintendo version because it moves slower and it's more at your speed. No offense, because it gives you a bit more time to sort of respond to what's going on. Let's move over to a video of our Super Nintendo counterpart. And now this particular version, we talk about the Super Nintendo version game, was also developed by the same people, Probe Software. These are both games made in Britain, by the way. It's a British studio. And I looked into it, and apparently Mirrorsoft had the rights, and that's Robert Maxwell's company. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, the notorious. Anyway, we don't need to go down the whole darker side of things, but that then got sold over to Acclaim Entertainment, and then we all know what happened after that. But Probe Software made this, and this one has, in terms of presentation, when it boots up, you have the music from the films. This is the thing, like, it's got the alien music. You see an image of Ripley. You see the story being told from the film. So you got a lot better in terms of presentation and art style. You have that straight away. You got that polish from the SNES version, which I appreciate, to be honest. And in terms of the music, I know people say, well, it's more suited to the film. That's what they say. Whereas the Mega Drive one is its own thing. But then, I remember listening to these people arguing for the SNES's case, and they say, well, the SNES version is more truer. It's a more truer feel to the film. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Like, both of them, Ripley has a gun. Ripley doesn't have a gun in the film. If there's no gun, there's no video game, right? So it obviously borrows assets from Aliens, with the type of weaponry she has. Now, with the Super Nintendo version of this game, it's similar in the sense that you got the run and gun aspect of it. However, it's not just about, yes, there are missions you have to take, about 7 of them, where you have to do certain things. So the first one is just like the Mega Drive game. You've got to save the hostages in one area. Okay, but you got no timer. You just have to go to a section and do it. And then you got another mission where you have to sort of there's a bunch of burst pipes, and you have to fix them in a certain alien infested area, and so on. So once you go from one mission, you go to the next. And you do have a password system on here. So you have that. So you have, in terms of the graphics, it looks better because it's Super Nintendo. The colors are more similar to the actual feel of the movie. If you look at the background, you see that sepia tone the movie has. It's actually set on the actual prison, the prison planet Fury 141. So it's more true to the film, which is fair enough, true to the source material. But how is it as a game? How does it play? Now, when I played through this, I thought, okay, this is interesting. Like, her jump is a bit weird. and you have to get used to the controls. I find that to be weird as well. And because of the Super Nintendo's D-pad, it's just because Ripley can aim in diagonals and things like that, or you can crouch and shoot and things like that. I think there's too many frames of animation for you to do that. So even though it's a slower game, you also react slower as well. So if you want to get down and shoot a crawling face hugger coming at you, you better be quick at that as well. So there's something to be said about that. It's got, in terms of, I mean, on paper, if you just look at this game, it's supposed to be better than the Mega Drive one. It looks better, that's for sure. But one thing I've noticed is with this one is the challenge factor is quite easy in the sense that the aliens don't behave like aliens. They're not running to you. They actually walk at a very slow pace. And some of them, they walk like this one above your ceiling. Should have dropped down and got you in this clip that we just saw. It's like, well, what is its point in being there? So the behavior of the aliens isn't like the aliens whatsoever. Okay, so the AI is stupid and it doesn't feel like that they're a threat. And in an aliens kind of game, you want to feel a bit terrified, like you're up against something. Yeah, and unless an alien is facing and coming at you, it's not going to do anything. That alien that was just crawling down there, what I would like to have seen it follow you and climb up the ladder and come for you. So I wonder about that aspect of it. I don't think it's as difficult as the Mega Drive game. Not to say that the Mega Drive game is like that the aliens follow you, but on the platform you're at, they will come for you. They will come for you. They will want your blood. But this one, not so much. Now, this game has a much more bigger map in terms of the Metroidvania style game that Sir Joe mentioned the Mega Drive has. This very much is a Metroidvania style. An issue I have with this game is it does have a blueprints map section, as you gents are aware, but the problem with that is you can only access it by going back to a blueprints map terminal, and that's a pain for this game. That's what irritates me. If you're going to make a game like this, make the map accessible, make us be able to get it. Or at least with the pause button, you can actually look at where you're going and where things are, rather than having to go all the way back at the terminal and wonder where it is you're meant to be. Also, I found that the blueprint map terminal, whatever it showed, the map wasn't as detailed as it should have been. It didn't show like where there's a barrier or a block or whatever, and you have to end up backtracking. So that was a bit frustrating too, in terms of the lack of detail in the blueprint map itself, or it was hard for me to see. So this is one of those weird games where, on paper, everyone says that this is, well, everyone I know of, but when you read about it, people typically talk about this being the better game. On paper, if you're looking at a box ticking exercise, does it have better graphics? Does it have better sound? Does it have better presentation? Yeah, okay, in theory, yeah, but the gameplay, the details are in the gameplay, and sadly, you can't see this, and it comes under a list of Super Nintendo games that people think is better than the Mega Drive version because of how it looks. But I mean, it's a very subjective thing, which is why all of us are doing this. But for me, I prefer the Mega Drive game. That's my view on this. This is not a bad game, but it does have its flaws, which do frustrate you. And for me, it's the difficulty incline of how the aliens behave, the way the controllers are, and how you have to go back to the blueprints on the thing if you want to see where you are. And that you feel like, why am I wasting my time here? You feel like this is just a chore. This is a fetch quest. Why am I doing this? So sometimes I feel like it just takes up time where you could be doing something better. That's my thoughts on it. What do you think, Jose? What are your thoughts on the game?
So, the Super Nintendo game, again, the music is really good. What I didn't, let's see, what was it? What did I write? Okay. The sprites for the aliens, like the detail, I like that. They look really good. But in this version, between the two, I'm not a fan of the Ripley sprite for some reason. Like, this one I don't like. I think the Mega Drive one looks better.
He looks like a dude.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I know she's
It's G.I. Joe. The other one is G.I. Jane.
Okay.
But like this one, it's again like the other one. Like, I'm not really sure where to go, and then having to deal with the blueprints and the computer and all that is so annoying.
Yes.
There's like as a kid, there was no way you were gonna remember which way you had to go. And like you said, like if you could just pause it and the map came up, and then you'd be like, okay, I'm right here. I gotta go there.
It'd be nice, right?
But no, you have to literally like, oh shit, I forgot. Gotta fucking make my way back. Go back to the thing, and it's when you click on that damn computer, it's like a real computer where it fucking takes a while to load. It's very annoying.
Yes.
Damn
Yeah.
Windows 95.
Even when you're like exiting out of it, it's like, oh, it like takes like a second or
Insane.
two, and then you're just like
Yeah.
the
Oh,
old
that's fair enough.
PCs where you had to shut down, and then you had to wait for that screen where it said, "Okay, now you can switch it off."
Yeah.
Right here. This
Blue
computer
screen of death. This is literally a blue screen of death.
Oh my god!
Fair enough. What about you, Juan? What did you think about the Super Nintendo game? Did you at least enjoy it to some extent?
No,
or-
I mean I did. I mean a big difference from the Mega Drive version. You know, agree. Like I said, you know, music was good. I mean, the maps were like I said a pain in the ass. You know, I wish too that you know you can just press pause and something pops up. So I got lost a lot, and then I got fucking frustrated. I'm like, you know what? I need to move on to the next.
Yeah, I know. I
But-
can understand. You like, you know what? Like, I saved after I think on the second missions, and I thought, okay, I've done that bit. What next? And then, oh, do I really want to do this? You know, etc., etc. So it's like, do you have the strength to move? Like, you need the password system in there. The fact that it has a password system is a saving grace because, like, you need that if you want to return to the game. Because, like, I don't want to return to this game straight away after I play it. I think, okay, I've done this part, and it just feels like a really long slog. It feels like a chore playing this, so I don't enjoy it as much. This is actually in what I spoke to Sir Dan, who's actually on this not on this podcast live now because of certain health reasons, but he had a quote for me, and he says, "Quote me on this one, mate. Alien 3 on Sega is so superior to the SNES version, it's not true." Or well, he said the SNES version being superior is not true. He goes, "The SNES version is dull. The alien's barely a threat, and the level structure is boring. The Sega version is much more tense, it's tightly woven, and far more challenging and exciting." And that was his sort of like, his take on the Sega version over the SNES game. And I can't help but say I agree with you. I mean, there are bits of the SNES games which do bore me. You know, I think that, okay, this is just a copy and paste job with the level design, or where are we going with this? That's how I kind of feel.
I mean, when it comes to presentation wise, like I mean, I like the SNES version better. Just graphically. Now, if you were to take SNES and Mega Drive and just bam, you know, take the graphics for this one and then put like, you know, the alien AI, you know what I'm saying, in this game, dude, it'd be fucking dope as fuck.
It's funny because they have the best of both worlds. It's the same developer, but they made a different style of game to that one, and they could have combined both teams to make a really good Alien game. That's really interesting, isn't it? How they made it different, and they weren't quite like, it's like that Team A went on Team B, and Team A and Team B could have sort of put their heads together and made something better, and they could have made it multi-platform. But part of me thinks it's really nice to see a different version and enjoy the different versions that they came out with. So the variety I find interesting. But fair enough, interesting take, Juan. What about yourself, Sir Joe? Any final sort of any thoughts on the Super Nintendo version? You said you leave this
Right.
part.
I will piggyback on what Sir Dan mentioned here. In concept alone, and this is coming from a person who hasn't watched the Alien movies, right? Aliens to me is like Die Hard in space. Okay, horror thriller in space. So I didn't get that same feeling playing the Super Nintendo version because it's so bright. The aesthetic is bright compared to the Mega Drive version. The Mega Drive version, because it's a bit dark, it's more darker and grittier. It kind of feels like you feel the dread coming from the xenomorphs moving so fast at you, which in the concept it should evoke that kind of fear to the player, right? It's like watching it's like not necessarily comparison to the movie, but you can feel the excitement and the dread that, oh shit, someone's coming at me really really fast. Compared to the Super Nintendo version, everything's so bright. You can actually see the xenomorphs and the face huggers approaching you. Yeah, I mean, you can appreciate that because you can easily destroy them, shoot them. And the only time when I can remember when it gets really dark, when Ripley, quote unquote, gets inside a compartment or a air vent, it has that circular what's the word I'm looking for? That biface kind of view, like the middle is the one that's illuminated, but the outer circle is quite dark. So you don't really see your the peripheral vision left and right if something is approaching you. That's the only time that's the only time that you feel that excitement. But other than that, whenever she's out of there looking for the hostages, uh looking for the I'm guessing what were those, like bombs, is it, or something that
Yeah,
she needs to disable?
yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, still lots of backtracking,
Hmm.
even more so with this,
Yes.
because because you're tasked with your task you're being tasked with a little bit more to do compared to the Mega Drive version.
Yes.
Um, Although maybe the only probable thing that I can think of that I kind of remotely like about this game would be Ripley's ability shoot eight directions. One,
Yes. You
two,
got
three,
more.
four, five,
More.
six, seven, eight.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got different directions you can shoot in.
Mm.
But yes, there is something to be said
Aside
about.
from that,
Mm.
I would still prefer the Mega Drive version in terms
Mhm.
of overall presentation and the fear factor of it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean that those level cards with the alien drooling at you, that in itself is scary.
Mm.
I found
Yeah,
that terrifying.
and one thing, at least, okay. The second thing, the probable thing, at least the Alien 3 on the SNES has like an opening presentation. Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Oh, thank you for the spoilers. Hicks and Bishop are dead.
yeah. You've not
What
seen
the
Alien
hell?
3 yet? Wait, have you not seen Alien
No,
3? Where have you
no,
been? How do you
no.
live? Okay.
I told you guys I haven't seen any of the movies. Okay, but I
Oh,
know the characters. But I keep
right,
hearing the characters,
right. So
Bishop
you
and
need to
Hicks,
watch the
and
movies. The fact that you haven't
yeah,
seen the Alien
yeah,
films is
yeah.
shocking.
Because I heard a lot of Alien movie reviews over the years. Not actually watching the movie. I kind
Right,
of
so
understood the premise of it and who were the
okay,
characters just by
okay.
listening to those movie reviews. And then when I saw the opening sequence of this game, spoiler alert again,
Okay.
Bishop dead, Hicks dead. What the fuck?
Well, not Bishop isn't dead. He's just not opera. You'll see if you watch the film. Like, just watch the movies, man. Goodness me, I'm outraged that you've not watched the movies.
All
You get the
right,
video
okay,
games.
maybe I
Next.
will
Watch them.
eventually.
Have an Alien marathon and watch it. All right.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, how about we do an alien movie review? Bam, there you go.
well, I
And
Oh,
then talk about
we're gonna do our own Alien movie review.
it. Hell yeah, why not?
If Sir
Anyway,
Joel is if Sir Joel is willing, sure.
let's have a look at the
I will ask Sir Joel if he wants to.
let's have a look at the competition. So we've got a guy called Two-Headed Thingies, 5000. He's mentioned always preferred the Master System version of Alien 3. Still do now, just the way the aliens explode into luminous globules rather than the screen splatter. So interesting take, because I was actually introduced to the Master System version because my cousin had this game first. I only played the Master System version, then the Mega Drive. So actually the first game version of this was the Master System. And I have to say that it's one of those weird Master System games that plays better than the Mega Drive one. And the same could sort of be said about Sonic 1 on the Master System. I don't know, it's just the way that the game plays. I kind of prefer it to the Mega Drive version. Master System version is fundamentally the same game as the Mega Drive in how it is, just 8 bits. So that's definitely worth checking out if you want to, if you want to go
One more thing. And on the SNES version, Ripley's running stride. You think that the way she's running, she should be moving fast, but
Yeah, she's
no.
slow. Yeah, she's slow.
I mean, her running stride is so big,
Yeah.
but the distance that she's going is quite
It's not
slow.
propelling her.
for
It's
some
not
reason.
doing much. It's just like she's skipping, but she's like not moving as fast.
Right.
as she should. No, I know what you mean. It's like, hurry up.
You know,
you know?
you know what I mean? Look at the footage, right?
So look,
Like,
overall, I
it
think,
feels like she's running a marathon, but the camera scroll is so slow.
right, so
That's why I
overall,
prefer the Mega Drive version. It feels
Right,
like
so-
she's actually running for her life.
let's wrap this one up. So overall, I think it's a 4 out of 4. We all prefer the Mega Drive version. Am I right in that consensus? Yeah, Mega Drive.
Mega
one?
Drive.
Yeah,
Mega Drive. Yeah.
Mega
Okay,
Drive wins on this
One's
one.
nodding. Yeah. All right.
PlayStation 2.
let's
No, yeah,
let's
Mega
move
Drive.
on to the let's move on to the next game. The next game in our sort of comparisons is Animaniacs. Now, I'm sure we all grew up watching the Animaniacs cartoons and loved it. I think it was a crazy cartoon that we could all laugh at and enjoy. with the slapstick comedy and the parodies that were included in that, and produced by Steven Spielberg, as I remember. But yeah, Animaniacs, and it was successful. And there were there were a number of video games that have actually gone on. There's an Animaniacs game on the Game Boy Advance, would you believe it? But it was that successful in IP, they continued making games for it. But we're talking about like the main ones of that era, and that's the Sega Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo, or Sega Genesis Super Nintendo version. So let's have a look at the Sega game first. Now, my cousin had this game. Both games were created by Konami. Both came out at the same time towards the end of 1994. So we're talking peak 16-bit games here, right? So there you go. Now, here's the Mega Drive game. And the story is basically these three are on some quest to get like movie memorabilia, and they want to open up their own little shop. It's a simple thing. Meanwhile, the Pinky and the Brain, they're trying to take over the world, as they usually are, and they've got their own little ploy in regards to this. But yeah, you present it with a story with the Mega Drive games. As soon as you go on, as you see the animations, they look exactly like the cartoons that you see in the Warner Brother cartoons that you can enjoy. So you have that. Now, you start off with an introduction stage to sort of gauge the characters. So the game doesn't throw you into the deep end straight away. Now, how the Mega Drive game works is you have Yakko, Wakko, and Dot, and you have the ability to change the characters. And they all three of them walk together, and they all have different attacks. So, Yakko's attack is a table tennis, like a little, I don't know what
paddle
it's
ball.
called. Paddle ball.
It's paddle ball, yeah.
It's a paddle ball attack, so you can attack people. Wakko has a mallet where you can smash into items, and Dot can sort of blow a kiss heart to someone and make them infatuated and freeze them. So you can use these three attacks in the same way you do with Lost Vikings. Each Viking's has its own power, and it's interesting. You go from one character to another just to get past the puzzles on the way of this puzzle platform that you go through. But it's quite a fast-paced game for what it is. Here they come, jumping out the tower, heading down, and they're jumping on the. Obviously, you'll see the characters from the Animaniac cartoon as well, so plenty of appearances there. And you get on with the game, and of course, Yakko can move the boxes as well. So, you just control and you go through it, and you see. So, obviously, once you get past the main intro stage, you go to different studios in the Warner Brothers lot, and they're all parodies of like movies that have come before. So you got like a Star Wars space section, you got like a Indiana Jones sort of adventure style section, and whatever, and you have to get through it. And again, this game has a nice password system, so no pulling your hair out, and you get to choose the levels you want to go to. You don't have to go from level 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever. You can pick and choose, very much like the Super Nintendo game. I like this game. I love the music to this game. Both the Super Nintendo and Mega Drive have very, very good soundtrack. Different soundtrack, but very good. I prefer the music of the Mega Drive. I just think the sounds and the way that the compositions are made are better, personally. And it's definitely a game worth playing for any young person, because not only is it just your generic platformer, it teaches you how to solve a problem. Okay, we have to change to Wakko to whack the mallet, and then we have to go there. Okay, we have to put these boxes in this order, etc., to get over this obstacle. So yeah, you have that, and you also have like very dynamic boss battles. This is actually a fast-moving game, even though you have to sort of think on your feet. So obviously, there's a cannon there, and it needs a bit of tinness.
Cannons to the left of them.
So there we go, and then there we go. There we go. So there we go. So that's basically it. So the game has all these sorts of extras in there. But yeah, I love it. I love this game. I remember my cousin had it. It was one of the last games he bought on the Mega Drive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it personally. What are your thoughts on this game, Jose? What do you think about the Mega Drive Animaniacs game?
Okay, so the game, it's fun, it's colorful.
Mhm.
I did find it annoying having to switch between the characters. And I thought the music was just okay.
Okay.
But I'd probably go back to it.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So that's a bit you found annoying. What did you find pleasing about this game? What did you like about the game?
I'm like,
I like anything about this game. You know, it
I
just
mean,
annoyed me.
I mean, like I like the characters. Like I like the cartoon growing up, so it was nice to see.
He's got the characters tattooed on his back.
See,
man.
Yeah.
I never played any of these growing up, so
Yeah.
it was fun to see them in a different medium.
Fair enough. All right.
I need more
Okay.
time with it.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough. What about you, Juan? What was your thoughts on this? The Sega Genesis, the Mega Drive Animaniacs.
I mean, for what I played, I mean, it was good. Like, I liked it and enjoyed it. You know, I still like. I mean, what Jose said, need to put more time into it. You know, to actually like play it and and finish it. I mean, I like the the dynamics to where it's. I mean, granted, I mean each one has its own unique thing to do on a level. But
Okay.
I mean, overall, I mean, it was cool. Like I said, I just want more time with it to play it.
Okay.
I mean, I
Fair enough.
remember this part right here reminded me of like playing Shinobi.
Yeah, there's a waterfall level on the second level. Yeah, I remember that. So yes, there's going to be similarities from one Mega Drive game to another.
Mhm.
Like this bit here reminds me of Rocket Knight Adventures, because there's a minecart level in Rocket Knight Adventures, which is another Konami game. But anyway, whatever. Okay, need more time with it, but you enjoyed that. But you enjoyed
so
it
far,
too.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. But like I said, yeah, more time for sure.
What about you, Sergio? You're looking at it quizzically. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I was originally I was about to I was going to show the Super Nintendo gameplay first before the Mega Drive. But okay, so we got the Mega Drive gameplay right now.
Mm.
I find it more tolerable playing the Mega Drive version compared to the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I mean, both games will require you to switch between the three characters, between
Yes.
between Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
Mhm.
But the main thing that that separates the Nintendo version and the Genesis version for me would be the controls, because with the Mega Drive you only got the if you're playing the Mega if you're playing this on a 3-button Mega Drive controller, you only have to worry about those three buttons. That's it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Jump, attack, and change.
With the Super Nintendo, you're gonna be worrying about using 5 or 6 buttons in combination, and you really need to get used to using those buttons strategically just to advance to the game. And switching between these characters, okay, you really need to memorize which character to use depending on the situation that you're in. There's a lot of trial and error that goes into this game. Okay, I'm stuck with this. What should I do? Should I use Wacko? Should I use Dot? Should I use Yakko? And I never really got also in the gameplay that we're showing right now. I never really got past to this because during the Indiana Jones the boulder run, the boulder dash, I got stuck in there because I didn't know that I have to ride the boulder rather than me avoiding the boulder because there's some spikes there that you need to jump over, and I'm like, okay, so how am I supposed to jump this? And I never really figured out how to catch the boulder or jump high enough. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lever that you need to pound using Wacko, but I never realized that you can do that. So again, there's a lot of trial and error here that that you're gonna use. At least there's a password system for both Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo versions. But to me, like I said, I was able to progress further with the Mega Drive version rather than the Super Nintendo version. So that means that's me saying something, because that means the gameplay is a little bit more. What's the best word I can put that? The gameplay is a little bit more enjoyable with the Mega Drive compared to the Super Nintendo. And again, once we show you the Super Nintendo version, we'll expand it to it more.
That's fair enough. Right. Okay. So let's move to the Super Nintendo version so people can see what you just talked about, and let's have a look at that video. What was this Jake Vega Samson saying? Die monster, you don't belong on this world. Hold your fire. I'm human. Finishing strike. I don't know what he means. I don't know what that's.
It's talking about Castlevania because we reference Castlevania.
Oh, right. We saw the Konami logo and thought, oh, Castlevania. Oh, that's what you think when you see Konami, right? Right. So Super Nintendo game came out at the same time. Has a bit more story to it. There's a lot more in terms of presentation. There's a lot more presentation in terms of this game. You've got a lot more cutscenes, and I suppose you have cutscenes when you go from at the beginning of each level on the Mega Drive one. So you have just as much presentation and content I've noticed in terms of what's on the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive. It's just this there's one goes on for a bit. Now, the Super Nintendo version, as you can see here, has a 3D playing field. It's not 2D side-scrolling. There's a 3D environment here. Now, this is a contentious one because there are people who love it and there are people that don't like it. I'm one of those people who don't like it, and the reason why is when you're at the platforming section, it's like, am I at the front part? Is the platform on that side or that side? It's hard to make out, and it just makes it a bit of a haphazard thing, controlling the characters around there. Another thing that I find really strange is you have 3 characters you can control, but none of them have any exclusive powers. They all just have a run, and that's basically it. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I'm thinking, well, at least make the characters have a unique ability. But then I'm spoiled by the Mega Drive version when I compare to the SNES.
I know when you had to break the crates. Like I'm like,
yes,
okay,
where's
the hammer? Where's the hammer?
Here's a hammer. I had to run through them. I thought, what is this nonsense? But I got through there eventually. And another thing is that security guard can capture you, and you got the Warner Brothers Tower in the middle, and that's where you go back and capture and rescue if it's Yakko, Wacko, or Dot who got captured, you have to go and save them. You just go back to that level. Or you have the slot machine system at the bottom that you can see there in the heads-up display, and you can get a character back there. And you don't have lives in this game. It is literally when you're dead, and that's it. Basically, the lives are the Warner Brothers themselves. It's all 3 of those characters, and when they're all gone, that's the end of it. So I suppose that's their way of saying, well, there's your 3 lives, there's your Warner Brothers, and that's it. One thing I think is interesting about this is you have a lot more varied style of gameplay. So here you got like they're flying on witches' broomsticks and they're sort of flying over certain areas. So you have much more varied side-scrolling sections in the Mega Drive version. So that's a point to the Super Nintendo that the Mega Drive game does not have. But that being said, I do find the 3D sections to be a bit haphazard, which is why I prefer the Mega Drive game personally. I also find the Super Nintendo game to be a bit much more difficult and much more harder because of that. But I think if I play the Super Nintendo one a lot more, maybe my opinion might change, but I don't think it will. But I do prefer the Mega Drive version. In terms of the music, again, as I mentioned earlier, great soundtrack. I just prefer the Mega Drive sounds, but obviously Jose probably has a different opinion to me. But they're both very good soundtracks in my view. But yeah, both very good games. I just have much more of a preference for the Mega Drive one, just because you have I just like the style of the fact that you have each of the Warner Brothers, each of the Animaniacs has their own abilities, and that comes into form when playing through a level. And also I like the fact that when I'm platforming, I don't have to worry about, not being on the right section of the 3D plane to make that jump. So that's basically all I will say about it. But this is my point of view. Jose, your thoughts on the Super Nintendo game?
Like the Genesis one, the game's super colorful. I like that. I think it looks better here than on the Genesis version.
Okay.
I feel like the controls are better here too. The music is better. I think this game overall is better on the Super Nintendo.
Okay. Not much of a hot take there, because a lot of people think that as well, to be honest. Most people prefer the Super Nintendo one. I think it comes down to, it being on paper, it ticks all the boxes. For me, it's the gameplay that sort of decided a bit more. And I prefer the sound, but that's fair enough. You prefer the Super Nintendo game. Because, and obviously you've made your points clear in regards to you think the sound is better and you think that it plays better on Super Nintendo, which is fair enough. What about you, Juan? What are your thoughts on this?
I like this one. I mean, because of the the 3D, the 3D aspect of it and everything.
Mm.
But like I said, I mean, it being different, I didn't like the fact. I mean, coming into it, I didn't know that they were not going to have their abilities.
Mm.
All they do is just fucking run. It's like fucking, it's
Well,
essentially good. It's like fucking playing Sonic. Like
what I like
Nintendo.
about this as well, I failed to mention this, but they've got some very funny animations of the Super Nintendo one where they're like doing faces when they're just pausing. So the animated sprites are a lot funnier to sort of look at. Not to say that the ones on the Mega Drive don't do it either, but I found them to be a bit more true to the Animaniacs cartoon characters on the Super Nintendo one. But okay, so they do all they do is run. All they do is run.
The running aspect, like I said, I mean, it's essentially just like playing fucking Sonic on Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to me, but I mean, overall, though, like I said, I mean, music was cool, for both versions. This one, it's very colorful. But I honestly playing them both, they're both good. I mean, they both have their own unique style to them.
I also noticed that the sprites are much bigger on the Super Nintendo version. They're much bigger to look at and they're prettier to look at. That's for sure. All right,
but I mean, I will, this one. I mean, I still want to, have more time and finish the SNES version and everything too. But I mean, I so far from what I played, I like them both, even though they're fucking different.
Yes, that's for sure.
Big difference.
All right, so Joe, you're up. What do you think of the Super Nintendo version of this game?
Right, the Animaniacs Super Nintendo version. Like you guys mentioned, the sprite work here is bigger compared to the Mega Drive. There's this slot machine function at the bottom of the screen that it can probably distract you from what's going on the main screen, and most likely the majority of the gameplay you probably ignore it. Okay, and I'm pretty sure there's some significance to that function, but because everything is so frantic and moving so fast that again you're just gonna ignore that most of the time. Compared to the Mega Drive, like I mentioned, a lot. This version is a lot more frantic. It's wilder, more zanier. Which hey, that is the Animaniacs, right? Totally zany. And the more I think about it, it's all about what they're trying to accomplish here. With the Mega Drive, I can understand why each of them has some individuality. Like each of them having some power ups. With the Super Nintendo, they didn't offer them anything else to do by themselves because this game works better if all three of them are present. If that makes sense. Animaniacs in concept works for people if all three of them are present in the screen. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to do one thing compared to the other character. It's just that as long as all three of them are there, it's good. So at times whenever you're playing a certain character between the three, if whoever it is that you're controlling and that character somehow dies or gets captured, then you're stuck with two. And then if that character dies or disappears, then you're stuck with one. So the more if you're down to only one character, it kind of limits your gameplay even more, which kind of gives a little bit more challenge to you if you're only left with one of them, really, compared to the Mega Drive version, because you need all of them in a way that because certain situations will require you using their special abilities. Here, because they don't have any of that, the only thing that they can do as a trio is just them stacking up each other. Like
so they do count. They're important because they are their own lives. Basically, if you lose one of them, you're losing a life. Where you got to look at it, and you have to go traipsing
if
for the other one.
you're gonna look at the gameplay here, that's the only unique thing that they're gonna do. They're gonna stack up to each other so they can jump higher. I mean, but that's it, really. Uh,
But that, like I said, I mean, that's what poses the challenge is the fact. I mean, like Raj said earlier, it's like it's a 3 life system. You know what I'm saying? You
It's a
lose
3
one,
life
you lose alive. I mean,
mhm.
that's what makes it challenging because it's like
I-
fuck, you're screwed.
I find that an annoying chore because once you've lost it, you got past it. You got to go to the Warner Brothers tower to rescue them again.
Mhm.
I just find that a bit tedious and annoying to backtrack and do that. I mean, come on, man, really? Like, is that necessary? There's something to be said about that. Mr. Business Cat is from a Discord group. I want to say hello back to you. Happy Pi Day. Is it Pi Day today? Okay, it's Pi Day. Wonderful. I don't know what significance that has on my life, but wonderful. I'm happy for you. But okay, so we go to the get to the conclusion here. I mean, all right,
Pie Day.
so what do you? I mean, what's your favorite? Like out of the 2 games, which one do you prefer? I know Jose's made his point clear. He prefers the Super Nintendo version. What about yourself, Juan? I mean, where did you sort of get to? Because I think you were split on this one.
Yeah, I and I'm still am because like I said, each game has its unique style. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe was saying, like with this one, I mean, the only thing they can do here is stack. But then it poses it more of a challenge if you start losing a character until you finish the level, compared to the Mega Drive version, to where like each one has its own ability to help you get through a level. But
And you have a
you don't
life
get
bar.
captured.
And you have
And
a
you don't
life
get
bar on the
captured.
Mega Drive one. You have a life bar on the Mega Drive one. Obviously, one thing I failed to mention is like if you get a hit, you've got like 5 hits and you're dead, sort of thing. With the SNES one hit and you're gone. And then you have to get another animator. So I think the SNES one is much more challenging. Much more unforgiving title, I will say.
I mean, it's more loaded. I mean, with stuff they have to do. Like I said, each character having its own abilities.
I find. Do you know what I'll say about the SNES version? And so Joe made a point about this, about the heads up, the little slot machine heads up display. Just like you got a button on your SNES control, the L and R button, and it controls like when you want to stop, and you're too busy playing the game to really want to enjoy that. To be honest, I don't know whose idea that was.
You literally have to fucking stop and like, okay,
yeah, and like okay, that's it. So it's like you're looking down. It's like a nodding donkey effect. So I don't know about that. I don't know if I can enjoy this game fully. So for me, I because of that reason, I think they tried to be very ambitious with the SNES game. They tried to add all these wonderful features, but I don't think it. I think when you're adding too much and ruin the simplicity of the game, I think you can sort of ruin it. And that's why I prefer the Mega Drive version. That's me, but. I'm not trying to sway your choice. I know you're on the fence. So I'll let you decide yourself.
No. You're good. Like I mean, it's there's no swaying. It's just like I said, each version of the game has just its own thing to it. So like realistically, like I mean, you want to know what it is, you got to play them both, finish them both, and really do a full comparisons. With this challenge, I mean, 12 games in total that we had to do. So we really put that much time into it. And then plus, like I mean, with life, being busy, running here, running there, like, I mean, I try to put as much time into it, but I mean, enough to kind of like really get the comparisons for both.
So we're split on this one. Okay, fair enough.
I'm split.
What about you, Sir
Jose? I would still, at first, I was thinking of giving it to giving the Super Nintendo the edge of this, because at least here, you can see the other characters from the Animaniacs cartoon. You got Pinky and the Brain, you got Slappy Squirrel.
Well, you got that on the Mega Drive version. They become bosses.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that they never really did anything with those side characters because they're not really the main focus of the game itself. It's the Animaniacs themselves. It would be nice if like maybe do something with the insular characters, like maybe just a mini game, for each stage, just do a mini game of them or some sorts, just to make them feel more relevant rather than them making a cameo. But I would give it to the Mega Drive version a little bit of the edge here in terms of it's a little bit more simplistic to play. Oh, how about this? If you're gonna play Animaniacs, play the Mega Drive version. Maybe it's a little bit easier, and then if you're able to enjoy that, then try the SNES version next.
Yes,
the SNES version is a little bit more challenging, in a way, in terms of gameplay mechanics. But if you want something a little bit more simplistic, try the Mega Drive version first.
Okay, so we got 2 to Mega Drive, 1 to Super Nintendo, and we got 1 split vote. Okay, so that's Animaniacs. Let's move on to the third game. Now, this is one that I think you were, out of all the lists, you'd like, Sergio, because I know you're into the action RPG. What's the business cat saying? Never played either version, but given there's 3 different characters on screen at all times, seems like this would be playing more like Lost Vikings in the world of Illusion. This is playing like, so he's obviously talking about the Animaniacs game we just mentioned, and give him a go, business cat. I think the Animaniacs game on the Mega Drive is definitely one you should start with first. The stairs one's a bit more difficult, but it doesn't matter which way you want to play them, but they're definitely worth trying out. But yeah, the Mega Drive one is very much Lost Viking style in terms of like the Animaniacs having different abilities. Anyway, next game, as I mentioned, we're talking about Shadowrun. So Shadowrun was a tabletop RPG from 1989. Became very popular in the same vein as Dungeons and Dragons. It had its own little books and comics or whatever. And we have the video games. I think the first one we got was the Super Nintendo game in 1993. And then the Mega Drive came out in 1994. Now, this is different. This is interesting because they're 2 separate developers. You had Beam Software, who did the Super Nintendo version, and you had Blue Sky Software under Sega, who did the Sega Mega Drive version. Okay, so first we'll start with the Super Nintendo game, which, as I mentioned, came out in 93. Now, as you can see, when you start off, like, you don't see it, but you can pick like a character you want to play as. I think, I can't remember now, but you start off as a lead, and it's a point and click style RPG. So you go and you pick up items, and you wonder what you're doing in this cryo tube or whatever it was that you were in. You're in a morgue, and you go out there, and the adventure begins. The game consists of you having to sort of go on shadow runs, and you pick up items. You go into the there's like this the Matrix, and you have to sort of get what's it, karma or whatever, and then you have to go through missions, and it's much more linear as a game as you play along it. Isn't a game that I had. It's only a game that I became aware of later on when I was exploring the libraries of both systems via ROMs and emulation. That's how I came across these sort of games, and very, very much a sort of cyberpunk style of game where you go out there and you fight people basically, and you get weapons, and you get a crew, and you do certain missions, etc. And that's fundamentally the game in a nutshell. I've never beaten either of these games. These are games that I've played a few times and think, okay, I'm done with this. But I can see it's a game that could probably be better suited to someone like Sergio, who has the patience for something like this. No, he doesn't. No, oh good lord. He doesn't. He's nodding his head. He prefers more of a turn-based system, I guess. So there's Shadowrun.
Turn bases and half-naked bitches.
He wants them half naked.
I was looking for one. Yes, none of them here.
You got good sound effects on the Super Nintendo one. I found the graphics to be quite small in comparison to the Mega Drive one. But as you go through the game, you level up and you get things, and the story develops, and there's a story that you follow through this game, which is interesting. But just want to hear your thoughts, Jose. How did you find Shadowrun on Super Nintendo?
He looks bored of it.
So Shadowrun. Well, first off, as a side to this, okay, I'd never heard of these games until we did our CRPG episode, and Sir Joel and I think Sir Dan recommended me Shadowrun Returns, so I played that. And I have this thing where if I play a game series, I like to play the first game, like I like to play them in release order.
Yeah, no,
because not only like storyline and stuff like that, but gameplay wise, like I don't want to get used to stuff in the new one and then be like, why isn't that shit in the old one? So I do not like how this game plays.
Okay.
And I can just keep thinking like, because the newer one is like grid based, almost like a tactics game, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Why is it so weird to examine things? Like, why do I have to do this weird like get the cursor out, click on it, then
Yep.
fucking be like, oh, examine or open or talk or whatever. I'm like, this is stupid. I do love the theme. I do love the cyberpunk theme.
I'll click and examine your eyes. Bam.
No idea where to go on this one. The first time I played it, I ran into some alley or something, and there was just guys shooting at me left and right. I had no gun, so I died.
Yeah.
And then when I finally did get the gun, again, fucking have to bring up the stupid crosshair, shoot the guy. It felt so clunky. Yeah, I did not like this game. I just couldn't get into it. And I think if I had played this game first,
Yes.
before Shadowrun Returns, then I would have gotten.
So you're spoiled by a successor.
Yes.
Basically. You're spoiled by a successor, and that is the original is so primitive you can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a game of its time, that's for sure, and it hasn't aged very well, to be honest. Again, a much more linear way of gameplay, because you do have missions and you do go through a story. As I remember, I played this back in 2003 on ROM, so I'm trying to remember everything, but I can't. It wasn't a memorable experience, to be honest. And I agree with you in terms of the point and click aspect of it, where you got that cursor. It's stupid. If you just want to open a door, why can't you just walk up to it and turn it? Why do you have to click on it and open it?
Exactly.
Why don't you go through it? You know, it's the dumbest thing.
Why is there like extra steps to do that?
It doesn't know if it wants to be a PC game or a console game. I mean, I understand a cursor with a PC, but like with what is it? So that's the issue I have with it, is the slow mechanism of it. But I do think it has a much more balanced, action system, or a much more balanced system when you go into the Matrix to sort of get the karma that you need.
Does the mouse work on this game? Because I feel like that would be a more enjoyable.
I've never tried it. I think it does actually. I think.
I think that might be better.
I don't think it would be better personally, but I think because it's still the same thing, isn't it? It's over-engineered for what it is.
Well, if they put this bitch on the Switch too, we can use the fucking.
Who even uses that on the Switch too? I don't even use it. I think it's a redundant feature.
I use it to play Mario Paint.
Yeah, well,
I want to get that one game where
are they going to release a printer so you can print out your little your paintings?
Well, you could screenshot it and then email it to yourself and then print it that way.
Bloody chore! It's as much of a chore as using the point and clicker on this. It's like over-engineered stuff. You don't need that. But all right, fair enough. That's just your thoughts. What about you, Juan? How did you find this game to play? Is it hard to get into as well? Or?
Well, never heard of the games at all.
Play the new one.
So when I saw it, but now listen to what Jose was talking about. Now I feel like I got to play this one first and then move on to the successor. But so far, I mean, from what I played so far, I hated the fucking point and click system.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, this game should be fucking more of a PC game than anything. It's my thought. But when it came to like the presentation of it, the presentation was good. Like I like the presentation. I mean, the fact that you can, when you go in places, and talk to people, what I'm saying, you interact and see what's going on. My other comments for the Mega Drive version, but I mean, not much to really say on it. I mean, it was just a pain in the ass for the point and click aspect.
All right, so we got pain in the ass. What about the music of this game?
The music, I mean, yeah, I really wasn't paying attention to the music because I was like half asleep when I'm trying to play and get my notes. But I mean, I'll have to give the soundtrack a listen.
Okay,
and see what it's like.
Fair enough.
The music on the Genesis is better.
Well, got everything into it. Already.
Just knowing when I was playing though, I mean, it did give me like a big ass fucking cyberpunk vibe.
Fair enough.
So,
all right,
the new one.
Let's move on to what Sir Joe has to say about.
Character actually makes a cameo in the new one.
What do you have to say, Sir Joe? What's your thoughts on this Super Nintendo Shadowrun?
Super Nintendo Shadowrun. Opening sequence, they didn't really mention where you are, but I said, is this Seattle? Because I can see the Space Needle Observatory Tower. And I'm like, okay, post-apocalyptic Seattle here. Sure. And then Amnesiac amnesia character. Who am I? Where am I? Sure. And then when you start playing the character, oh my god, it's a clicker. It's a
Mm.
point and clicker game. I'm like this, like what they mentioned earlier. This would have been better if it just stuck on a PC platform rather than a doing it
Console.
on a console platform. And I'm like, I mean, I can understand the hustle why they want to do it like this. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit different from other games out there. But I think it's. I'm beginning to think that if you bought the game, most likely it came with a manual.
Yep.
And if you read that manual,
Yes.
chances are you might have a better understanding of this game
Gosh,
rather
yeah.
than us playing it
Shadowrun
blind.
is
Yeah.
Shadowrun is a D&D kind of like
Yeah,
format.
because
It's a tabletop RPG, and it's nice to have the manual so you can actually read and
yeah,
understand what the
because
goal is.
again, this is one of those games, like I mentioned earlier. Where the fuck do I go? What the fuck do I do? Kind of games.
I would have
So
thought you'd be an experience
yeah,
with all the RPGs you played. I thought this
no,
would be a problem for you. You're a veteran in the
it
RPG genre.
it should have been
That's why you wear the hat.
no,
You know.
no, it should have been, because the first time when the character woke up from the morgue, I tried examining the buttons first, which button does what,
Mm-hmm.
and and this game is very non-linear to my understanding, because whenever you talk to someone, they will try to prompt you in some sort of a quest kind of thing.
Yeah.
But by the time you move out of the building, like Sir Jose was mentioned, people keep shooting at you, and because you don't know what you're supposed to do, you'll end up exploring all of the doors, all of the entrances, all of the buildings, and chances are those people, Shadowrun here in concept, there are mercenaries to my understanding.
Mm.
So these people are all bad, are all bad hombres, gonna shoot at you, shoot to kill the moment you step inside their building, and you don't
Mm.
have a gun. In
Mm.
some games, the gun will be available to you, like maybe a few seconds in the game. You'll just find the gun lying somewhere. But this, the gun is very important. Okay, that you really need to find it first for you to get through at least like a good 50% of the game. And like I said, you need to look for the gun. None of the side characters here that you're gonna talk to will direct you where to find the gun. And even if they do, you have to buy the shit, but you don't have any money to buy the shit. So you have to look for the gun somewhere else. And
Yeah.
again, you need to explore all of the uh, uh, all of the places available for
Mm-hmm.
you to find the gun. And in my experience playing this, yeah, I ended up uh, just exploring all of the buildings up until to the point that, oh, the gun is just right there.
Mm.
What the fuck?
Mm.
And yeah, and even if I did manage to find the gun, oh my god, I need to aim at it manually too. Why the fuck do I need to do that?
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, that's right. It's an action RPG. That's why you have to aim. It can't be like they can't make it too easy for you. No, I understand.
and what's the game that you recommended me before, the Sega CD game? Oh, what was that?
What,
Uh,
what Snatcher. There's
the
a lot of it.
Snatcher. Yeah.
Okay.
So I enjoyed Snatcher for what it was. And
Okay.
playing this, the Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo, it reminded me of Snatcher in a way of the presentation.
All right. Yeah.
Because you're talking to the guys, and there's a lot of options that you need to choose before you can get the proper information out of them, just like in Snatcher. And uh, it's very presentation wise, it's very noir,
Yeah.
a police noir kind of gameplay.
We use a
So
cyberpunk setting, so yeah, it will be noir. Yeah.
but so if you're the kind of gamer who likes this kind of thrill games, maybe you might find some enjoyment out of this. But if you're gonna play this, I would suggest having a walkthrough, or at least or read the manual if you can find it.
But it's
Game
a game
packs.
that you're supposed to get lost in. I mean, you do need patience for a game like this. You need patience.
Yeah,
I think that's one
Yeah,
thing you need.
because without any of those literature, you'll end up exploring things, and
Yeah.
if you're an explorer and if you have the patience to explore, then
Mm.
fine.
Okay.
You'll be able to manage to find the gun at least, and then do whatever it takes. What some of the background characters will ask you to do, and eventually you'll find your way to the main quest or the main story of it all.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to the Sega Mega Drive
And then,
version. of this
real
game.
quick, why does when it gets into the cutscenes, like the dude's face, it looks like the Doom guy?
Well, that is what it is, I guess. Let's move to the Mega Drive game. So Business Cat goes, this is a Sega slam dunk. So it's like the writing's on the wall. I actually kind of prefer the Super Nintendo game, as crazy and as shocking as that might be. I just think it's a much more balanced system, and you'll understand when you play this game on the Sega one. That's the only thing. Otherwise, yeah, the Sega game. To be honest, the Sega game came out a year later, so they had time to make this version, and Flying Edge did. Sorry, not Flying Edge. Blue Sky Software did a very good job making this particular version of the game. I like the Matrix section of the game. I thought it was really well done. Again, with the Mega Drive game, you pick one of the characters when you begin with. You've got better presentation on the Mega Drive game. You've got better sound. It's basically everything that you'd expect to be on Super Nintendo. The only thing I dislike about the Mega Drive version of this game is it's not as personal. So when you walk into a building, you're not going and you don't actually see a sprite that you're talking to. You just go straight to a screen and you just see an image and you're talking to it. So it's a much more impersonal game. That's what I'll say about the Sega Mega Drive version. But the soundtrack
that's what sets the difference between the two, though. Because granted, look, the
yeah,
gameplay is a lot better. I'd rather take the gameplay on this one than worried about going into a room and talking. Seeing the sprite.
I think it's more accessible because the SNES version plays so bloody slow because of the point and click. It's the accessibility of the game. When you go straight through it, you can get into it straight away. And when I was, again, messing around with ROMs and emulators, this is the one that I was more drawn to be honest. But I remember, this is a long time ago, so I'm going through memory. But I did find that that it wasn't as well balanced as the SNES one. It's a harder game, I'll say that much. And it's much more open-ended. Also, the Super Nintendo one, if you look at these people you have to sort of beat on the streets, there's more of them on the Super Nintendo one. There's more people that you interact with.
Was it me, or did you guys? You guys noticed too that on the Mega Drive version, when the enemies got closer, to me it felt like it slowed down a bit.
It does, yes. It'll slow you down, and you can't even run away from them in the building. With the SNES one, you can run away from the villains. There's an option you can click and you can run away from them. With the Mega Drive one, you pretty much have to fight them. But yeah, you will slow down when the villains are coming after you, and you will have to fight them. You can't run away as easy. So definitely a much more challenge factor on the on the Sega Mega Drive one. That being said, it's subjective whether how hard you find it. So Dan, who's not with us, prefers this version 10 times more than the Super Nintendo one. He finds the Super Nintendo one too slow and too jarring to enjoy. So there is that aspect of it. And because it has a much more open world setting, whereas the Super Nintendo one will take you for a linear storyline. That's the difference. That's the biggest difference between the two. But yeah, the sound is much more superior. You can clearly see the graphics are better. Yeah, you can clearly see that. For a system that's older than Super Nintendo and has a limited color palette, I think it did a damn good job, to be honest, with the shading and the coloring that it did, and the bigger sprites as well. So you have that too. But I particularly, I think on paper, the Mega Drive, it looks better and it plays better as a game from the offbeat. But if you stick with the Super Nintendo one long enough, I think it's a much more balanced game. So Business Cat says it's impressive as an open world RPG, the only one from that era that I can think of. So that's really interesting. Jose, what did you think about the Mega Drive game of Shadowrun?
Okay,
Booty.
Sir Joe has been saying, it's another one of those. I have no idea where to go.
Okay, fair enough.
When it came to actual shootouts, fighting people, I didn't like it either. It felt clunky. Okay. Again, I'm ruined by Shadowrun Returns.
Yeah, okay.
Versions.
Okay. So really, it's a case of the battle of the shits, really, isn't it? They're both
Yeah,
shit.
and like I kept shooting people I was supposed to talk to on accident. Because I was like, "What's the button to talk to someone?"
Oh, dude.
And it was funny because like I shot him, but then it started talking to him. And we're like going through this conversation, and he's telling me like, "Oh yeah, like I'll partner up with you if you this and that." And then as soon as the conversation's over, he's trying to kill me because I just shot him. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like this game. I
mean that's fair. That's a fair action towards him, of course.
Oh,
I mean,
dear.
I mean, he was very polite to assist you, but then you shot him.
Well, what's funny is you shot him first. He has this polite conversation, and he's like, "Oh, I've just been shot, and I'm going to come after you." That's what's happened here. That's that lag. Oh,
so you basically Han Soloed him. Okay,
yeah,
he was shot first.
He shot first.
But,
That's funny. That's funny.
The music is better on this one.
Okay.
It's a better fit here.
Mm.
I don't know. They're just both of them are like I was ruined by Shadowrun Returns.
The worst because the superior versions are now being made. And I agree. I think these games were limited and definitely a game of their time, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys into playing it to make you realize that actually this is like where it all sort of began with this sort of open world RPG sort of thing. But that's fair enough. They have their limitations. I think I can kind of guess that out of the two shit games, which you think the Sega one is probably better. I'm guessing that's. I shouldn't really speak for you, Jose. I'm guessing that's where you're going with that.
No, actually,
no?
on every game I would write like SNES wins, Genesis wins. On this one, I said they're both meh.
So you're in the okay. They're both equally shit.
Okay, how about this? Which version you hated the least?
Oof, there we go.
I hate.
I mean, clearly both games you didn't know where to go, you didn't know what to do. But at least this one you already had the gun. At least you have a fighting chance.
Guy, man.
The only thing I could say that I liked was that I knew who the character was in the Super Nintendo one because he makes an appearance in the new one.
Yeah, fair enough. And you also have limited ammo on the Sega Mega Drive one, don't you? But you got unlimited ammo with the gun on Super Nintendo. You have a lot more.
It's harder to find, but unlimited ammo. This one, you already had the gun, but very limited.
Oh well, it is what it is.
But with in Joe's case, he'll use cheats to have unlimited ammo.
What about you, Juan? What do you think?
For this one, I mean, the top view and the way it played was a lot better than the SNES version. But like I said too, this version was very fucking text heavy. A lot of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go to school to play this game, but go on.
Yeah, and I don't know how to read. I'm at a first grade level.
I will say
that
is something I liked about the Genesis one better.
You like that to read,
yeah, because I like all these conversations you have with people.
So I mean, I just played it. I mean, enough to kind of really just get the feel for it. Like I said, text heavy. I mean, the presentation one, I mean, was good, but not as good as the SNES version to me. But I mean, I could have did without the fucking. If there was no, point and click, to do shit, like it'd be better for me. Probably make it more funner.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to do the Matrix, but I mean, I pulled up a video to kind of see, and the fucking Matrix in this one was fucking amazing.
Yeah, the Matrix is much better on this version than the Super Nintendo. The Nintendo one's just a tile-based system, so yeah, the Matrix is. It's also you could get all your karma in the Matrix. I mean, you don't really need to even go in the Matrix in the Mega Drive one, to be honest. If you do well, either way, it doesn't matter. You can do the Matrix and whatever, but there's other ways you can get karma. But the Mega Drive one is much more accessible in that regard. But it's unbalanced. It could be argued it's unbalanced, so that could be an issue for some. But whatever. What about you, Sergio? What do you think about the Mega Drive?
All right. Shadowrun for the Mega Drive. Between the two, between this and the Super Nintendo, both main characters are broke as fuck. They don't have, I mean, at least in the Super Nintendo, you don't have cash, don't have anything with you, you don't have a gun. At least with this one, you have some cash, kind of, but not enough, and you already have the gun,
Yeah.
limited ammunition, but at least you have a fighting chance when you're fighting with someone. Um, Top down view compared to the other one. Yeah, the Super Nintendo is isometrical, but this one, at least this one is it's not as slow compared to the Super Nintendo. You have a little bit more mobility and more range playing this one. In terms of the role playing game aspect of it, there's a better presentation here compared to the Super Nintendo. Um, when I say presentation, they're like they paid a little bit more attention to the design and the GUI of the interface of the RPG elements, like your equipment, items, and all that. In the Super Nintendo, all you got is it's a green screen and some text. That's it. In terms of dialogue here, I appreciate the Mega Drive more because at least in the Mega Drive, the characters are saying, yes, they're saying a lot, but they're also telling you some hints and some clues what to do, where to go. Compared to the Super Nintendo, they're saying a lot without telling you anything. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was able to maneuver myself a little bit further with the Mega Drive because I kept on talking to people. If there's one thing that I didn't really particularly like, maybe yeah, sure, you do have the gun here, but it's not like you point at an enemy and they die first hit.
Yeah.
It might take 2-3 times for you to kill one of the enemies, and it's not like once you hit them, they slow down. No, you need for you to in order for you to kill them properly, you need to shoot, run away a little bit, shoot, run away again, and then shoot. Because if you don't, if you just stay there stationary,
No, you're dead.
they will come close enough to kill you instead.
Yes. That's
So it takes a little bit more strategy killing some of the enemies here. Takes a while of getting used to in terms of controlling that one, and uh, com- like what we're showing in the on the footage. You have your own skill tree here, of course. The more people you kill, the more items you accumulate. You'll gain enough skill points to better your character with. I would say, yeah. If you have the manual again, or if you have the walkthrough, you might enjoy this game better compared to the Super Nintendo version.
I mean, okay, so let's just get to a conclusion here because I'm conscious of the time we spent on this. But are we talking? So, are we all saying the Super Nintendo version is inferior or superior? Where are we going with this? Like, what is the better version, or the best of a bad bunch in Jose's case? Are we all on the fence here or something? Or what's
if I'm gonna fucking pick one,
yeah, you're gonna have to pick one.
I'm gonna pick the Mega Drive version over the SNES version. That's just if we're gonna pick one.
Yeah.
Mega Drive, because at least here I knew somewhat what to do, where to go.
Okay, and Jose, they're both shit.
They both suck, but I think I would go with the Super Nintendo one because I like how you could see. I like how you could see more.
Yeah. So the interesting thing with me, I'm wearing this Sega outfit, and Sedan's gonna kill me for saying this, but I actually kind of prefer the Super Nintendo one. I know it sounds a bit weird. That's shocking for everyone here now for me to say this. I'll tell you why I kind of prefer it. It's the fact that it is more linear driven, the fact that it isn't as overly complex as a Mega Drive, and that the system is a bit more balanced in terms of the cyberspace and how you get the karma. I find it to be a much more balanced way of playing. And also, like you mentioned, how like you just mentioned, Joe, you know, when you're in a fight with the Mega Drive one, you can't run away. If you run away, you're gonna get killed. Yeah, it slows down and that's it. So I think the Super Nintendo one's a bit more forgiving in that regard. Maybe Dan will say, yeah, well, Viraj, you're a pussy clot, yeah, because like you should be fighting your battles. You're meant to be the Sega guy. You're not be running away from fights. You better be taking some beatings, you know. But you know, it's a video game, you know, and that's the way I prefer it. But
I mean, I'd rather fucking have to slow down a little bit and take the fight. Like, fuck it, why not?
True.
I want the action.
Maybe there's more of a lion heart in you than there is in me. All right, I'm willing to concede
Hey,
that. Okay?
if it's up to me, and I love Sir Dan to death, but if it's up to me, I'm doing you Sega geeks a favor here. All right,
Yeah.
I'm not playing. I'm not using any walkthroughs here. I'm not using any game start codes here. I'm not using any save states here. I'm playing
know.
this blind. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's up to me, I would have cheated my way out of this games.
I mean,
Okay,
But
are, you
no.
are you literally playing blind? Like with your eyes closed?
Yeah, I was.
Like
Yeah, I
Mr.
was.
Miyagi does Danielson? Covers out?
Oh, not that blind, but you know what I mean.
I mean, so we got Jose. So we got Joshua in the comment section here piping up saying the Super Nintendo version is superior. So he's got his opinion. And you got Business Cat here saying Sega version was a Sega Channel exclusive. I think it's meta. It got delivered over the Matrix in real life. So it was on the Genesis. So maybe for us in Europe, because we never got it. But the Americans had the Genesis version. So the Americans got it. We never sadly got it released in the UK, apparently. So yeah, it was a Genesis exclusive. But yeah, for us who are rich enough, those of you who are rich enough to have Sega Channel, fair enough. There was also a little bit of tidbit information. There was a Shadowrun on Sega CD. Sadly, it was a Japanese exclusive, and there's a translation patch for it. But it was his home game as well. But anyway, that's another issue. Right, so that's Shadowrun. Let's take a break. We'll do the ads and all that, and then we'll work on the other 3 games on this episode, and we'll see what we think on those ones. All right, so let's take a break. Let's get refreshment, and let's let the ads roll, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right.
Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from Bitmap. Since 2014, Bitmap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. Bitmap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from Bitmap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from Bitmap. By ordering your first Bitmap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with StreamYard. By using StreamYard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard.
All right. So now we're back. We're back. We got something to drink or something. We had a bit of a break. And we're going to move on to the 4th game in our same game, or same name, different game podcast with Sega game versus Nintendo. So the next game we'll talk about is Tasmania. Now, again, just like Animaniacs, that was like Warner Brothers animated sort of cartoon series of the early 1990s that a lot of kids watched. A lot of us have seen the animated cartoon. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the Tasmania cartoons. I like Animaniacs as well. I thought, again, it's Tiny Toons as well. But they were all three of them I enjoyed a lot, and we got Tasmania. So let's have a look at the 1992 Sega Mega Drive version. So we have this here. This is a conventional action platformer game, as you can see. You got Taz. He goes into tornado mode and he goes through the levels. Very colorful. The music I found to be quite bland for what it was, but it still suits the cartoon and the style of the game. It's certainly a challenging game, I found, with the way the enemy placement was and the way the level design was. The level design is really your enemy when it comes to this game, I found. Starts off straightforward, but you go through it and you get through the game quite simple. I enjoyed this game for what it was at its time, although I would say it hasn't aged as well as other platformers of the era. But it's got cute animations. It's very much a game of its time as well. I enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, I'm just curious to see what you guys think. This should be quite an easy one to get through. Jose, what do you think?
First off, I love the show as a kid. I remember watching it all the time. This game, not so much.
You like it?
No. Like just the controls, like every time he jumped, he almost felt like he got like stuck to the ground. It's weird explaining it. I wasn't a fan of the controls. The music sucks. I didn't like it. Just I don't know. Enemy placement is weird. Sometimes they're just like there, and then like when you're in the quicksand area and you got those two things coming at you, and you're just like trying to jump out, and they're still just coming at you and hitting you, and I'm like, it's annoying. And then like Business Cat says, there's all kinds of blind jumps. You don't know where you're supposed to jump to. Yeah, this game just meh.
It will punish you. It will punish you. Yeah. And it's unfair. And like I said, the main challenge is the level design. Sort of the game is the level design. So I totally agree with you on everything you said. It is a frustrating game at times. You know, you think, how am I supposed to get through this without getting killed? And you will die. You're going to die playing this game. It's just the way it was designed. They want you to die. But yeah, okay, fair enough. So you didn't like the game. Fair enough. What about you, Juan? What do you think of this game?
Playing it just literally reminded me when I played fucking that Roadrunner game when we did that one episode and the game that I picked. Like that's what it reminded me of. It's really slow. Like to me, like I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
Roadrunner was good though.
I know, but I mean, just like the style, like the blind jumping. When you were trying to get to places, like that's, I mean, what I was gonna say on that one, but I mean, yeah, I didn't like this one at all. Like I don't know, like I didn't put much time into it. Like just like I said, the movement and everything, like I really didn't like it. So I was just like, all right, cool, on to the next one.
Did you find that there was a bit of latency to your controlling this game? It didn't like respond as quick as you wanted it to. So I did notice that there was an issue with the Sega game in that regard, latency. But I managed to get myself around it, and I did get through much of the game when I played it recently. But I can understand it's not a game that I can say is something that I can say I can enjoy or is fun to play. It's just a game that you play as a chore kind of thing. I think maybe at the time you would have enjoyed it as a kid thinking, oh, it's Tasmania, and you have all that. But as time has gone on and you've played so many platformers now, could I honestly recommend this game to anyone to honestly like play and say this is a good Mega Drive game? Not really. Yeah. It's an average game at best, I think. It's not.
The colors are kind of muted too. Like,
yes, very. It doesn't take full. I mean, even though the Mega Drive had less colors than Super Nintendo, they could have done a bit more of an effort. You know, and that's something to be said about.
I mean, there's more color in the little intro where the dad's telling the story.
Yeah, the colors on the I mean, yeah, there's a wonder. I don't know. Obviously, it's not seen in this video, but you do. Okay, you got. This is a really muted. There's a forest like a level where you're in the rainforest, which is actually quite interesting. But other than that, like, this is a very bland sort of like James Pond codename Robocod, which came out the same sort of year, has more detail than this thing. But it is what it is, and this game was developed by Recreational Brainware, which is a mid-level developer at the time.
Well,
so
their brain fucking sucks.
well, there you go. It is what it is. So okay, you've said your thoughts on that. What about you, Sir Joe? What are your thoughts on it, Mr. Cheeto eating? He eats Cheetos, getting stuff in his face. Go on.
Okay.
What do you think? This is your country. It's an Australian IP. You got to do some respect for your country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does it look like this
And
over there?
under,
No?
And under, mate. You know what I mean?
Okay. Tasmania for the what is this? The Mega Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? For the Mega Drive
Oh
version.
yeah, because you can tell the difference between the two.
And I'm like, playing this game, nothing remind it. I mean, for the record, I haven't really gone much out, all throughout Australia, but this game reminds me nothing of Australia. Okay, to me, this game kind of reminds me. It seems to me that whoever developed this game, given the stage design to different people. One person didn't do all the design work here for all the stages. It's like first stage, Jose will do this. Second stage, Sir Juan will do this. Third stage, Sir Viraj will do this. Like, I mean,
Why do you have to?
you know what? Because, like, for example, I say that because in the first stage, there was no stretch of the imagination whoever made the design work of that first stage.
Boring.
If you're like a person trying this game out for the first time, and that's the first stage that you're gonna see, most likely you're gonna be put off because it's so unimaginative. I mean, it was so very. It kind of like one of those games that you see in Action 52. The design work. You know what I mean? Yeah. But by the time you get to the second stage, it's a lot different. Is it like somebody else like somebody else did the second stage a little bit better?
All right,
You
can we
know,
just
I
pause
mean,
the
like,
podcast? Yeah. Let's pause it for a minute. Let's say hello to Jose's mum, because she's saying hi in the chat. So
It's not my
everyone say
mom.
hi.
It's not my
Jose's
mom.
Yeah.
this is Ice Mom.
Ice mom.
That just means Ice Mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Ice Mom.
I just-
Hi, Mrs. Tadeo. Hello.
All
I call
Oh,
beside
your
my
mom.
sister. That's why I said hi, mom.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we say mom to her.
Let's continue.
Hi, Mommy Tadeo. All right. Like I mentioned, when you go to the second stage, third stage, there's a little bit more work that was done in these stages, and I'm like, whoever did the first stage must have passed out or must have been drunk and had a little less time to work on his assignment. Oh, whatever it is. Oh, sure. I mean, nobody going to care about this game anyway. Fine, then submit it. And in terms of gameplay wise, platforming, it's not necessarily linear. If you're gonna be like, there's a lot of things that you can probably do here, but if you're gonna speed run through this game, you could probably ignore most of the stuff that's lying around in the background. The ones that supposedly Taz is gonna eat. Just to accumulate points. Yeah, you really don't have to do that. You can pretty much, if you already know what to do here, you already know where to go. You can pretty much speed run through this game and be done with it. Really. Oh, see, for example, here on the third stage. This is not Australia. Ain't no way this is freaking Australia. Why are we on the Antarctic? We are kilometers. We are miles away. We are kilometers away from the Antarctic. Okay, we have no ice. We have no. Australia, to my knowledge, ain't no way you're gonna see some polar ice caps or glaciers on the outer skirts of Australia. No.
But all they're saying is, though, if Taz was around, that iceberg fucking before the Titanic would hit it, they'd be alive.
All right.
In the Atlantic, maybe, but not in freaking Australia. No.
I'm just talking about the iceberg itself.
Speaking of speedrunning this game, 11 minutes 13 seconds is the record.
Wow.
You'll see. Yeah.
He must have died a lot of times to get that record.
With or without cheats.
No, it says with no warps because apparently there's warps.
No
in this
warps
game.
whatsoever. Yeah, and I'm like, and because you would think that, oh, this is a Warner Brothers game compared to the Animaniacs for either Mega Drive or the SNES version, blew this game out of the water, really, in terms of gameplay and overall presentation. At least with those games, at least some actual work and effort was put into those games. This one, I don't know. It's like they had a deadline that they just had to do.
Yeah, this is probably the best looking level in the whole game, in my view. But anyway, whatever.
Well,
there's no parallax scrolling, none of that in the background, no moving backgrounds, just a static background.
Well, to be fair, the Animaniacs games were made by Konami, so hey, I mean, you can trust Konami with that one.
Well, yeah,
you can trust Konami with quality, despite the differences in gameplay. It's Konami, guys.
I would say that the best third-party developer for Sega,
but not Metal Gear Survive though. That game was fucking ass. Fuck Konami for that one.
let's move on to the Super Nintendo game Tasmania. Now this is going to look a lot.
You mean SNES Tasmania Road Rash?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting one because it's a totally different style of game, different genre completely.
100% different.
Action, more action scaling, and it uses the Mode 7 of the Super Nintendo. This thing. Now, there we go. I mean, look at that. I mean, that actually looks much more nicer to look. Well, obviously you're looking at his rear end, obviously, but like he's moving up the thing, he's spinning, and he's just kind of racing. The only like sort of in terms of presentation, graphics, and sound, this is a better game again with Super Nintendo because of what it is. But the thing is, the thing with the what's Business Cat saying? Master System Tasmania is a different game and supposedly better. The second Taz game on Mega Drive with Marvin Martin is also supposed to be better. Yeah, so there was a second Tasmania game on Mega Drive, which I have played, and on the surface, it does look a bit better than the original for sure. But that goes for a lot of money. I looked at the prices on eBay recently. It's ridiculous how much that second game goes for. But anyway, the Super Nintendo game is a scaling sort of running game where you have to get all the little chicks. You have to eat them in your mouth. Like you got 2 more to go to finish the level. Without losing your life gauge, basically. And you have to do it within that timer in the top right-hand corner in the heads-up display. That's fundamentally it. It's a simple concept, much easier game to sort of get through. How did you find it, Jose?
So I love this game. I love this one.
Okay.
I feel like this one is look like that. Like has a lot more sight gags.
Yeah.
He runs into the tree. He gets accordioned. He gets run over. He's flattened. I remember my neighbor had this game. I remember, and at first I didn't like it because I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here? Like, what the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And then I remember I was like, "You know, let me borrow this game because I need more time with it because I needed to figure out what's going on here." And then I finally like figured out how it works, what you're supposed to do, and I love this game. The music is really quirky and fun. I feel like it fits it very well. Graphics, everything's more colorful here.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're completely different games.
Yes, they are.
But I think this one is the better one.
Like a Temu Sonic R. How dare you compare this to Sonic R? I like Sonic R. I know it gets a lot of flack. All right, but it's a totally different thing, Sonic R. But I know what you mean by that, Business Cat. But you're not racing against other people. So I wouldn't say Sonic R. You're just racing against the time to get all the chicks. That's it. So it's much more arcade style. You know, you got a timer, eat all the chicks, and that's it. Okay, so you prefer this to the Mega Drive version. What about you, Juan? What are your thoughts on this particular game?
With this one, I mean,
this one.
Just as it started, like I said, literally, it instantly felt like fucking I was playing Road Rash or Skitchin on the Mega Drive.
Yeah,
like literally. But as in terms of, I mean, comparing it, I mean, this game was a lot more colorful. I mean, very simple. I mean, you were, like I said, just going around and collecting the little yellow chicks. Like Jose said, you know, like the soundtrack was good, you know, quirky and stuff, you know, and everything that goes on. One thing I would notice too, and I'm like, oh, they should have added like a speed gauge because certain points
Yeah.
you see a 55-mile-an-hour zone. Like
Yeah.
that would have been cool to kind of compare. It'd be funny.
Yeah, and if it goes over the speed limit, the cop comes or the one of the Rangers comes or something. I don't know.
But as it's like his tornado spin, I mean, it looked more better in this than the Mega Drive version.
Yeah. Well, I mean, visual concepts. I forgot to mention, visual concepts made this version. So you got a critically acclaimed developer. They want to make sports games later on for Sega themselves. They were part of the Sega Sports division eventually. But anyway, that's another story.
But
they made
it was simple. I mean, very simple. Like I kind of got bored of it really quick.
This is it, right? We'll touch on that point about you getting bored really quick in a moment. But what do you have to say, Sir Joe? What do you think about this game?
Okay, so Tasmania for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
it reminded me a lot of Pepsi Man. This is Pepsi Man before Pepsi Man. Okay,
right.
So the overall premise is you running in straight. The idea is for you to catch and eat all of these kiwi birds, okay, while maneuvering yourself from all of the obstacles, from the driving trucks, from all of the from the water, like rivers or lakes. There, you need to jump over those, or even avoiding rocks, trees, and all that. It's not a straight line, of course. It's not a straight road. It's lots of curves. Either you can twirl yourself just to I don't know, like to destroy, not really destroy, but to outrun or outmaneuver those obstacles. But of course, the more you use the twirl attack, it also drains your life. And it does have a counter. It's like Pepsi Man versus Outrun, in a sense. Yeah, because there's a time limit here that you need to catch all of the kiwis that you'll encounter on the road within the time limit. And the moment you manage to get all of those kiwi birds, you'll clear the stage. And the more you progress through the stages, it gets a little bit difficult. A lot more obstacles. There's a lot more kiwis to catch, and those kiwis are fast as fuck. I mean, it's really hard to. I mean, it's not as easy as getting close to them and grabbing them. No. The hit detection here is a little bit weird. I mean, most of the time I end up eating the bluebirds instead of the kiwis on the floor. I mean, on the ground rather.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes a while to getting used to the controls, because you're not really sure where exactly you're gonna the hit detection or the grab detection in this case. I managed to spend a lot more minutes playing this game compared to the Mega Drive game. So in this case, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of simplicity of what it needs to do, I would probably give the edge more to the Super Nintendo version.
That's fair enough. Okay, so you prefer the Super Nintendo game. I think, Jose, you say you prefer the Super Nintendo game. Juan said that he got bored with the Super Nintendo game because it is fundamentally the same sort of concept again and again. And I agree with him, because the background only changes 3 times, and there's only there's a desert setting, there's like a green setting, and there's like a slightly urban setting, and that's all you're going to see. And it's a lot of repeating. And the thing is, the premise is good, but there's not enough variety in terms of level to keep you really thinking this is the better game. I mean, it's a shame because, on paper, again, Super Nintendo is better in terms of presentation, sound, and visuals. And the gameplay, you'd say, could be better, but it bores me to death after a while. And whilst the Mega Drive game is haphazard and annoying with the level design, at least there's variety in the fact that you go to a different level and there's a different scenario and there's a challenge in that. With this, I don't see there's much of a challenge. For that reason alone, I prefer the Mega Drive game. Maybe I'm not alone in this one. I know that there's... I know you and Jose and Joe probably disagree with me, but I prefer the Mega Drive game. But what do you think, Juan?
I mean, to pick between the two, I'd have to go with the Mega Drive because, granted, there's more that you can do you know, versus just running in a straight line just to catch birds.
Mm.
That's very
I'm
repetitive.
pretty sure the line isn't straight. It curves
Well, okay,
that way.
well, okay,
It's
motherfucker.
not a
I
challenge,
did,
though.
I did say it's not a straight
just-
line. No.
But just the fact that you
It's
said
still
you're doing the
challenge.
same thing. I mean, it's a
I mean,
challenge,
no,
yeah.
no. I mean, to Sir Juan's point, I mean, it's more than just you running.
Yeah.
I mean, the challenge factor in the SNES game is 0 for me anyway. I can get through this game. Yeah, because you just have to get the Kiwis within the set amount of time and dodge all the obstacles and go down this road. That's it. That's all this game is. And I think it looks good, but it doesn't do much for me in terms of challenge. That's why I prefer the Sega Mega Drive. What was this? Business Cat said they should have put bosses in it, made it like Chase HQ in some parts for variety. And he's absolutely right. The game needs more. It's just pretty. It's just a pretty looking game. Other than that, there's not as much substance in it, and the Mega Drive has more substance. Yes, it's haphazard in how it controls and bland in terms of its level design, but there's a game there. This I see.
Okay.
Is more
If we're gonna use this kind of logic, then Outrun sucks.
compared to what though? Compared to what?
Outrun.
Outrun came out in 1986.
No. What I'm saying here is, if it's
but
just
Outrun is a
us
challenge.
doing the same
Outrun is a
thing,
challenge.
oh,
Outrun
right?
is a challenge.
Outrun
This
is just you driving, just running
Yeah.
across the time. That's it.
You've
Not
got
much of a
avoid the
variety
other-
here.
Hang about
Oh.
the time limit
See?
is not as generous as this. You can get from A to B very easy, and not as easy in this in Outrun. I bet you couldn't even beat Outrun the first stage in the arcade game, because as soon as you hit your car in Outrun, you run out of time. That's it. It's game over. The challenge is staying straight on the road and getting to that checkpoint. Whereas this game, Taz can take a few hits and he can still get the Kiwis and still beat it and make it to the list levels. It's a much more forgiving game. And so there's much more easier games. There's no challenge factor. Outrun, there's challenge. So comparing something is
And
great.
this has no challenge.
And Outrun has better control mechanism. This has 0 challenge. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
no.
easy.
That's a bias for your ass right there.
This is easy. How can you? This is so easy. Like compared to the Mega Drive version of this game, yeah, this is easy. I'll say that now. And Outrun has more challenge than this piece of shit. I'll tell you that now, straight up.
Ooh.
And you're driving a Ferrari.
I think we
as
need
well.
to see Viraj roll credits on this game.
Listen, yeah, I'll beat this game. Yeah, this is a child's game. Okay, I'll tell you that now. But Outrun is much more advanced in terms of precision and the fact that you have to get from checkpoint to
Just
checkpoint.
you literally driving across the time.
The fact that you compared a great game
Really?
like Outrun to this piece of shit is a fucking disgrace. I'll tell
No,
you that
because
now.
if we're just comparing on what one thing that you're supposed to do on across the road on a time limit, how is this? How is this
another
much
thing I want
worse
to
than
is,
Outrun?
okay, so Outrun is an arcade game as well, but okay, there's a console version on Mega Drive. Okay, but it's the simplicity of Outrun, which is the beauty of it. This game, it's too easy. Too easy. Yeah, too easy.
Oh,
Mega Drive game I prefer.
speaking of Outrun, we are running the clock as well. Move to the
Okay.
next game.
So let's move to the next game. I know Juan has been here, and I know he's going to have to get going. He said he's going to get going. He's got other priorities. So thank
He
you for
managed to
joining.
give
Juan.
Raj in one of his tangents. It's been a while.
Compared to Outrun. How can you compare an arcade game that did really well to this? That's what I find really baffling with you.
Hey,
I find it really
What,
weird.
like I said,
I think we
just
found our clip.
driving across the road on a time limit. That's it.
How the hell are you going to say that, man? That's just ridiculous. Man. I can't take that seriously because
Are you
Outrun
catch?
is-
Are you
I mean,
are you avoiding?
fundamentally,
Are you
that's
avoiding
what it is,
obstacles?
right?
Are you? Do you need to catch something as well?
Listen, I'm going to move on from the next game. We'll be on this for a while. We'll have this later, yeah?
Do you,
Um,
do you jump
let's
across
go-
the reverse? No.
Let's move on to the next game. Next game is
I bet you Sir Joe would agree.
Well, I'd like to see what Sir Joel will have to say. It's a shame he's not here. Right, so next game we're going to talk about is a bit more grown up than this. It's called RoboCop versus the Terminator. Okay, this was a very big game, a very controversial game on the time. Well, at least the Mega Drive was. So I mean, all these games came out during the peak, sort of Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, era. So we'll look at the Mega Drive version first. Now, the games will actually they look and play very similar, but there are differences in how they are. Now, if we can roll the RoboCop versus Terminator, it'd be nice. But the Mega Drive one was known because it was uncensored. There was gore in it. There was blood in this game. That's the one thing that made it stand out compared to the Super Nintendo version. Another thing that I find interesting about the game is it has a different soundtrack in how it plays. Much more techno, much more FM synth, should we say, compared to the Super Nintendo version. Not that the Super Nintendo version has bad music, it's just I prefer the Mega Drive one because of the sound straight away. But yeah, you have a lot going on in the Mega Drive version. RoboCop moves a lot faster than the Super Nintendo version. Much more action heavy, much more forgiving. I will say that the Mega Drive game, in terms of a challenge factor, it's there, but it's nowhere near as unforgiving as I feel the Super Nintendo game is. You can really level up and get some really powerful weapons in the Mega Drive game. And because of that reason, it's a lot more fun to play. Yes, it does get a bit more difficult as the stages progress. You also see some villains, and like, for example, you see, I think it's the second or third stage where you fight the RoboCop 2 from the RoboCop 2 movie as a villain, which is interesting. But yeah, this game again is one that I've thoroughly enjoyed playing back in its day. I played the Super Nintendo version. I'm aware that the Super Nintendo version has a 3D section in it as well, although I don't think it handles that well. That's the issue I have with that, but we'll talk about the Super Nintendo one later. Overall, I really enjoyed this game for what it was. For me, it's like the only good like RoboCop style game, I would say. What do you think, Jose? What are your thoughts on RoboCop?
Okay, so for
Terminator.
the Genesis one, I felt like it was more fun. The Genesis one was more fun than the Super Nintendo one. I felt like this one was faster. The music fits a lot better on the Genesis sound trip. The gameplay overall is better here. The other we'll talk more about that one, but it's better here overall. I think everything I enjoyed this one way better than the Super Nintendo one. I did like how this one is super bloody. Everyone just explodes in the pools of blood. You shoot the guy in the window and you see the blood on the curtain. This one is just more enjoyable. The graphics are really good. Everything fits. Like the theme of RoboCop fits a lot better on here. Is the game hard? Yeah, it is. It's kind of hard.
I mean, the first two levels you can get through, but then it gets a bit more difficult with the Mega Drive version. But you can get through the game. The Super Nintendo game I can't complete because I think it's too hard. But we'll get to that shortly. But okay, so I know that you like this game, and you're obviously going to probably say the Mega Drive is a better game as well. What about you, Sergio? What do you think of RoboCop versus the Terminator Sega Mega Drive?
RoboCop versus Terminator on the Mega Drive. Yeah, just like Sir Jose, I like the presentation overall on the Mega Drive version compared to the Super Nintendo. Aside from the enemies exploding with gore and blood, I mean, once you've seen it once, I mean, it loses its impact the more you see it. It's not really that much of a big deal. I mean, yeah, it's shocking the first time, but I like the fact that you have a little bit more variety in terms of weapon selection here compared to the Super Nintendo. Because if I remember correctly, the Super Nintendo, once you got the weapon, unless you die, if you die, then you'll go back to your default Magnum gun. Here you need to rescue some I'm guessing hostages in this desolated Detroit suburb, I guess. But when the concept of RoboCop actually fighting the Terminator, even back then, back in the early 90s, I never really understood what would be the premise of RoboCop actually fighting the Terminator. I mean, what kind of story that
Well, obviously the story in this game is
that you can come up with that. No. What I'm saying here is that unless you play the game, you can understand sure why. But back in our schoolyard, one of those schoolyard debates would be who would win in a fight, like a RoboCop versus Terminator.
It was a
And
comic, so
yeah,
but yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
there was a comic about that, and but in terms of the video games, I was waiting for like RoboCop actually fighting, like I don't know, like T800s or T1000s, and yeah, you eventually get that stage, especially in the footage right here, that bonus stage where you fight a lot more, a lot more Terminator character. I mean Terminator like the T800s here compared to the Super Nintendo because a lot of times you're fighting like what hoodlums and criminals, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanna fight the actual Terminators here. I mean, I'm not sure which one you're fighting, Ed. I I think you're fighting Ed on the Mega Drive or the Super Nintendo.
fight
I
him
I
on
can't
Super
remember.
Nintendo one.
Nintendo
What
one.
was it Super Nintendo? You're
Fight him
fighting
both.
Ed
You fight him in both.
or both? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I think you're fighting Ed earlier on the
Super
Mega
Nintendo.
Drive. I want to
Yeah.
say
No, Super
on the Super Nintendo,
Nintendo.
you're going to fight Ed a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see clearly in the Mega Drive version, you're shooting people and there's gore there, and obviously you're shooting Terminators as well from the gameplay here in one of the later levels. I mean, okay, so did you like the game or did you dislike? What did you dislike
I
about the game?
prefer the Mega Drive version compared to the Super Nintendo because yeah, it's a lot faster. Uh, Just like Detroit, it's like dark and grittier. It serves better on the Mega Drive. With the Super Nintendo, it was. I mean, RoboCop. I mean, RoboCop is slow because in the movies he should be moving slow, but not that slow. That makes sense.
Well, somebody said like when he's climbing up the ladders on the Mega Drive one, what is he on crack or something? 'Cause he's going
Right?
fast, yeah. You know what? I don't care. It's a video game. The artistic license is there. Let them make the game fun because you don't want to be taking ages going up and down ladders. You know what I mean? So I like the Mega Drive one more. So I think it's a home run for the Sega one here. But let's have a look at the Super Nintendo one, and let's go through the thoughts on that. Now, the Super Nintendo game, it's not a bad game, but it's just very difficult. I think that is probably the hardest out of all the games that we've sort of thrown out here. I think it's a very, very hard game. It'll be definitely a challenge for me to get through because you have that. Now, the Mega Drive one was made by Virgin Games, and the SNES one was done by Interplay. So that's the difference between the two developers that made it. But yeah, you have much more sort of you've got a lot more like sort of shadows and shaders in there, and the graphics are a little bit different. But you kill a lot of women in this game. Did you notice that? And a lot of screaming women here. Like, it's definitely a game for misogynists. If you hate hoes and want to kill them, yeah, this is your kind of game. You know, they're all women mostly.
If there's one thing here, RoboCop here looks like the RoboCop from 2014. The RoboCop in the Mega Drive looks like the 1980s RoboCop.
Yeah, Peter Weller. But yeah, you do kill a lot of women in this game, so I couldn't stop myself laughing.
This looks like a lot more the modern RoboCop than the other one.
Yeah. You got someone from the background shooting forward. You got all the really good graphics on this game. The sound effect is decent for what it is. It just doesn't move as fast as the Mega Drive game. Also, I find that his maneuverability is just not as forgiving as the Mega Drive game. That's all I will say. Also, again, with the weapon options, again, when you made a point about when you die, you're back to that sort of thing. So it's not as forgiving, back to using the normal sort of Magnum gun that he has. That being said, it's still a very good game. It's still one that I'd want to get through, to be honest. But I did find this very difficult. I'm not going to lie in terms of how he maneuvers and how he shoots the gun and how things come at you. Another thing that I disliked about it, and this is something I've always disliked about general Super Nintendo game, is the crop screen of Super Nintendo. It's like you can't see what's coming at you. And for games like this, you kind of want that advantage. It's like before you see it, it's coming at you, which is a bit unforgiving. So there's something to be said about that. Business Cat says the Mega Drive game was developed by the same team as Mega CD Terminator. A lot of the Terminator and robotic enemy sprites are shared by both games. So you have that as well. This game, like RoboCop, has invaded Gotham City.
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
so yeah, that's a very
It's not wrong.
Jose, what are your thoughts on the Super Nintendo game?
Okay, so I played this one first before the Genesis one. The premise is interesting between the two games, RoboCop versus Terminator. Like Sergio said, it was always that schoolyard debate, like who would win in a fight.
Yeah.
But the presentation wise, sprite wise, RoboCop does look weird. It doesn't look like RoboCop. And then his sprite is a little bigger than the Genesis one, and it kind of makes him feel slower. Like the game is just kind of slow overall. The music is okay. It's nothing special here. It's better on the Genesis. And then like and then maybe that's just nitpicky me. But you get to like that spot where there's like those boxes in your way, so you have to like go up a ladder and go around. I mean, you're telling me this fucking robot motherfucker can't just fucking bust through those damn boxes,
right?
I'm like, at least put a wall, or have put like a hole that was unjumpable, something, because it just logic wise, I'm just like that doesn't make sense.
I mean, he has a badass gun, but can't even shoot some simple boxes or wall.
And then this game is hard. I do want to get back. I want to play both of them all the way through. But I remember when you get to the fight with the Terminator. Oh my god, it takes forever. And then when you fight Ed, this part, oh my god, I kept dying. Like, at first, when I shot his gun off, I was like, "Okay, that's it. It's gonna be easy." No, this motherfucker,
he's still moving.
He's still moving, and then he's coming for you. And you're like, "Uh-oh!"
And then you got, of course, the box that you somehow can't push your way through.
It's got, yeah. I know it's silly in that regard, but what can you do? It is what it is, I guess. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, so we all agree. Okay, so Joe, your final thoughts on the game?
No, I mean,
I
mean, with the Super Nintendo, if there's one thing that I like, would be the comic book style storytelling of it, because you don't really have that on the Mega Drive version. You just there's just some text and then next stage. So it doesn't really give you that much of an explanation.
That's the only reason I want to get through this game. I want to see the comic book.
No. What I'm saying is that if there's one thing advantage of the Super Nintendo, that kind of storytelling. And fuck them bitches.
Juan did write his.
I thought you'd pick the Super Nintendo one because you liked the bitches, but you clearly were happy to shoot them. I'm a bit surprised, but anyway, it is what it is.
Juan did write his thoughts on the private chat. Okay. He says, liked both versions. Each had its own that I liked. SNES was more detail and lighting in the background, where Mega Drive didn't. He said he liked the music for SNES. SNES versus Mega Drive. SNES had the barrels that rolled and knocked your ass down.
Yeah. Okay. So he prefers. Does he prefer the SNES? He didn't. Well,
he didn't really say at the end, but I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, by the way he describes it, I think he's leaning more on the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, he liked the music, and I didn't think the music was that.
Yeah, I think the Mega Drive one has a really good techno soundtrack. So I'm saying Mega Drive. I think all of us are saying Mega Drive. So this is just definitely a majority Mega Drive game. All right, let's move on to the final game. It's really interesting how all these are like popular IPs of the 1990s, right? That we've gone through that are selected as the same name, different game, but. Next one is Jurassic Park for Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, both developed by different developers. So let's begin with the Sega one. Sega one was developed in-house by, I think, Blue Sky Software themselves, I think. So we'll have a look at that game in a moment. I had this game growing up. I didn't have much love for it because as a kid I wasn't that good. It was a frustrating game, but I can appreciate it a lot more now as an adult. Use digitized graphics, and because you can see obviously the T-Rex there. And I thought when the presentation of this game was outstanding when I first saw it. Jurassic Park as a kid was one of the first films I saw at the cinema, so it has a special place in my heart because my dad took me and my brother to see it as kids. So I was part of that generation. Yep, starts off. I mean, one of the things about this game, which you just skip through for the video, is you can either choose to play as Dr. Grant or the Raptor. So you got 2 games in one, which I think is really cool. And I think that's what I'll say it's right now. This is why I prefer the Mega Drive version. It's got a lot more going for it in terms of varied storylines and gameplay in terms of you can play as the Raptor or Dr. Grant. The way it looked for the time, and I think it still looks really good as a game, especially when you see like sort of like the digitized graphics of the raptors or the dinosaurs that you have to sort of get past on screen. The controls can take a bit of getting used to. I think that's one thing that you two are both going to tell me when it gets to your part, and I agree. The controls can be a bit haphazard, but it's passable at best. They actually fixed the control on the Rampage edition, which was this game's sequel that came out the following year in 1994. This is a 1993 release. Overall, it involves, you playing as Dr. Grant and going on missions to sort of get off the island, basically, and get the park online or whatever. And it involves you having to solve certain puzzles or get around certain obstacles in each level as you progress throughout the game. There are aspects of this game which I still find unforgiving. Yeah, you will die in this game. That's a fact. However, because I love Jurassic Park and dinosaurs as a kid, I kept throwing myself at it. Kind of like what I said about Alien 3 earlier. You will die, but you want to sort of continue playing the game. There's something about this game that wants you to sort of progress still, even though there are issues with the game in terms of how Dr. Grant controls, or you're like, how do I get past this bit? How do I get past the T-Rex when it breaks through the wall, etc. But you find a way. Life finds a way. So I enjoyed the that's a quote from the film. I enjoyed the game for what it was. What are your thoughts, Jose? What did you think about Jurassic Park on Sega Mega Drive?
Okay, I remember playing this one at my cousin's because he was the one with the Genesis growing up. I really like the music. If it's really well here, it's like got some nice bass in it. The graphics are really good here. Again, it fits the Genesis perfectly. Everything's like dark and like it's just like dirty, but not in a bad way. Like because you're in Jurassic Park, of course everything's going to shit now that the dinosaurs are trying to get you. But the dinosaur replacement, some of them are kind of weird, like how that Triceratops was just on that little ledge, like hanging out, and I'm just like, what are you doing there? How did you even get there? And then the fact that not even like a ledge later, there's the Dilophosaurus. And I'm like, why aren't you eating the Triceratops? Like, actually, you would do that. Like, come on. But you're waiting for the human.
yeah. The dinosaurs all have a psychic. So, they all got like this sort of psychic ability to say, no, go after Dr. Grant. We're not going to eat each other. It's up to the humans. That's it. You slags. That's what they're saying.
Like other games that we've played on here, I didn't know where to go. I was like going places and I'd be like, okay, this is where I'm going, and then dead end, and then I'd go around and I'd be like, what the hell? And sometimes like on Taz, like there was like just blind jumps you had to take, and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna hit the ground, if I'm gonna land in a bottomless pit. Like there's one spot like where you just keep landing on spikes, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do this? Like it's so weird. So I kept dying. I do want to go back to this game because I remember it looks good, and I remember seeing my cousin play it, and he got pretty far in it. And I have the collection on Xbox and on Steam, so I will go back to it. Maybe especially because those will have like a rewind feature, so if I do die, I can just rewind and then try again.
We can save at whatever point.
But
it definitely has its challenges, that's for sure. I remember the power plant level. I died a lot of times on this one. But when you get parts through it once, you can go through it again because you know exactly what you did wrong last time. So that's the good thing. I wouldn't say that it's unforgiving to the point where it's a skill issue. It's just knowing what to do in certain areas. For example, throw the grenade down so the Confignatus don't shoot at you like he did there. Because like from dying the first time, there's no way you can shoot. Once they're on you, there's no way you can get them off unless you go left, right, and they come off. But you've taken a bit of life with you. So there is that, and you understand what weapons work best. Obviously, you haven't got any guns in this; you just got tranquilizers and maybe explosives, and that's it. But yeah, those raptors, they don't mess about. They'll come for you. If you don't go for them, they will come for you. You got to act quick with those raptors. But I enjoyed that the game for what it was. So Joe, what do you think about Jurassic Park?
Okay, Jurassic Park for the Sega Mega Drive. Just like Sir Jose mentioned, the first stage didn't really make sense to me. If you're going to zoom out the the stage map, you would assume that the character is moving towards underground, and the more you go underground, it didn't really make sense. Those big dinosaurs just being there.
Right.
Like, I mean, what are these big dinosaurs doing here? I mean, I can understand the
It's a
little
video
dinosaurs.
game. I think you're thinking a bit
Sure.
too hard here, mate. I mean, look, it's just
No. There should be some rhyme and reason why. But then again, I digress. I kind of like this better compared to the Super Nintendo version. But just like Sir Jose again mentioned, there's this leap of fate kind of jumps that you need to do. Like you mentioned, you don't know if you're gonna land on solid ground or you're gonna land on. You're just gonna end up dying on on a pit or some sorts. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. You have choices of weapons here that you can use. Of course, if you're gonna speed run this game, I would assume you won't have to get all of those power ups, all of those weapon ammunitions. Sure, I mean, in the footage that we're showing you, you might encounter the T-Rex a little bit early. I would it would have been nice if there's a lot more dinosaur variants here, not just the usual Velociraptors.
Well, you do. You got the
Or
Dilophosaurus, you got the
Triceratops.
Compsognathus, you got the Triceratops. You'd have a bit of
No,
variety, mate.
and I mean, if I'm gonna base this from the movie that I know, I mean, I watched Jurassic Park, and if I'm going by Jurassic Park standards, I kind of wanted a little bit more variety.
Well, what
maybe.
dinosaurs did you see in the film? You saw a brachiosaur. There's a brachiosaur. You see a T-Rex. You see a Dilophosaur. You eat the fat guy, and then you got the raptors. They're the biggest showpiece. Like, what more do you bloody want? And you see the
A little bit more on the screen. All right, a little bit more on the screen because most of the time here you're just. It's like what game is this? I'm thinking of. It's like
See the T-Rex. What the fuck is he doing there?
yeah. Again, what the hell is it doing there? All of a sudden,
Hanging out?
right? No, I mean he's just there.
He's
Sure.
hungry. He smelt some man flesh, and he was a bit hungry. That's why he's there. He's after
This
you,
is
mate.
like this is like a little bit. This is like expanded version of Pitfall with just dinosaurs in them.
Yeah.
I suppose that's a fair point. That's a fair comment to say, but I would say that this game does have its own challenges that Pitfall doesn't.
I mean, when I say a little bit more dinosaur in here, I mean like you don't have to fight them. I mean, it's just. I mean, I would pretty much would like to see them more on the background, so I can feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. Okay, make me feel like oh sure. I mean, dinosaurs here and there, but they're more of a like obstacles for you to avoid or for you to kill. I mean, you're not there to enjoy all the splendor that is supposed to be in the first place.
Well, what's it? Business Cat says needs more Gallimimus, the running ones, and you do see them in Rampage Edition. There is a level with Gallimimus in the Rampage Edition, the sequel to this game. Came out a year later, but yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, these games are created in a very short time frame. They did the best they can with the time they had. So look, I give it props for that. You can't have all the dinosaurs that you want, but okay. Other than that, any other critiques you have with this game? The soundtrack is very foreboding, isn't it? Very dark for what it is. I found it to be
A little bit dark. A lot of bongo drums that I can hear.
Yeah.
Sure.
a lot of noisy synths. I found.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it's
could have
very.
made more.
It's like one of those. It's like one of those soundtracks that you hear on a jungle stage, because there's a lot of green. There's a lot of trees. You know, like hey, I mean, you're in the jungle, technically speaking. Yeah.
I found the sound could have been improved. I found the sound. You get used to the sound anyway. It is what it is, but it's not for easy listening. You know, it's just there. You know what I mean? It's not something that you're going to say, "Oh, I want to actually pick up the soundtrack for Jurassic Park on Mega Drive." No one's going to listen to this casually. It's just there, I guess. But I guess it's apart from Jose,
I have the
telling
two
me.
vinyls for the collection.
Whatever. There's no vinyls that exist. This never had a soundtrack. No, you got a Brachiosaur right there. There you go. The water looks nice. So that's what Business Cat says as well. So okay, but generally, I think we like the game. We can get on with it. And
I was waiting for the Plesiosaur.
Oh goodness me! Right, so let's move on to the Super Nintendo version, and that was created by Ocean Software, Ocean of America. So different developer, different kind of game. Came out around the same sort of holiday period of 1993. Of course, they needed to get it out to the Christmas time because obviously 93 was when the film came out in the summer. It was a big blockbuster, huge film, as I'm sure we're all aware. Did really well. They had to have all the video games on all the formats. Obviously, I think this had a handheld variant. There's one on the older Nintendo and Master System. So obviously, we're talking about the Super Nintendo one. Obviously, it's a top-down game, isn't it? You can see Dr. Grant here on this particular one. There's no real presentation when it comes to this game. This is it. You get like these little missions you do. And I kind of found that badge that gets in the way of you playing, to be honest. Much more forgiving. One thing we failed to mention about the Mega Drive game is that it has a password system. This one doesn't. You literally have to play this in one sit through, which is annoying. You know, obviously now with emulation, this is the one we use save states for. The Mega Drive one, you obviously got a password system. You can save at any point. Interesting because obviously you got different missions you have to do, like collect all the dinosaur eggs, for example. And you know, there's different sections you go into. So you got indoor sections, but that's when it becomes 3D. But that moves at a snail's pace. That is so slow. And there's your Gallimimus. There they are. The Super Nintendo game. But I don't know, like this game is just too slow. It's not a bad game. It just could have been better if they had better save points, to be honest, and that they made the 3D sections better. Other than that, I do prefer the Mega Drive game personally. What do you think, Jose? What's your thoughts on this game?
Okay, so this is actually the first one I played, and like,
Yeah, okay.
like Viraj was saying in the beginning, I remember watching this in the theater because I think just like kids, I was obsessed with dinosaurs.
So was I, yeah.
So I was all my time was reading books about dinosaurs, watching things about dinosaurs, and then they were like, there's this movie about dinosaurs coming out, and I was like, what? Like, I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
And this is the first game I played, and I love this game. I love how like when you start off, it's almost like you're like on a PC.
Yeah.
In here too, when you deal with
Like
the terminals.
You're like playing some version of Doom here, or like
that's what I like. When you deal with
felt
the
more of a
computers
Jurassic Park game, yeah. When you're in this version now,
it's like using the computer. You can use the Super Nintendo mouse on this.
Yes, you can.
So the first person perspective here, like the Doom, I fucking love this. It was kind of funny too because I remember the first time we played it, and you open the door, and Dilophosaurus is just sitting there staring at you. And me and my brother were dying laughing because we're just like, "What the hell is it doing? Like, why is it in here?"
Yeah.
I mean, they're just standing there. They're not even attacking you unless you come close. Right?
Yeah,
They're just standing there. Like
and then
stupid
just
idiots.
the animations of shooting them with the trank, and then they're just like, ugh, and they hit the floor kind of hard. That was funny.
Like Family Die Hard.
And then like you excessively shoot them with a rocket launcher, and they just fucking explode. It was just, it was
Just
funny.
flop.
We loved this game as a kid. We never beat it. The music though, is pure nostalgia to me. Like I literally like they call it Raptor Rap, the song that plays in the overworld right here. So good. Literally the reason why I bought the vinyl that Limited Run released.
Okay.
I was like, I gotta get both vinyls so I can get the whole thing. So I have the soundtracks for like all the Jurassic Park games.
Oh, God.
So I never beat this game. I did play it on stream a few years ago, and
Okay.
I got pretty far.
Okay.
I never finished. I did use save states,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what happened. My save state disappeared one day when I went back to it,
Oh god. Okay.
so I wasn't able to finish it. But I got pretty far. I had like most of the raptor eggs.
Yeah.
But that being said, it does work better if you have a strategy guide, just to kind of maybe look to see where you have to go, because that's what I did. Because sometimes I'd be lost,
especially the 3D sections. There's no map in there. There's
Yeah.
no map. You can get lost, and
yeah,
that's the bit that really pisses me off with this game, because all the rooms look the bloody same. So of
Mhm.
course, if you like start off halfway or save halfway, you don't know where you are. Like, you need a map for that, man.
yeah.
And a thing that I found really interesting is, like, it's got such tense music when you're in the 3D section, and then when you head in the elevator, you got some proper elevator music that just changes. Like, what is all that about? Like, who was doing that? It's like, it's like casual, chill elevator music in the elevator, but it's like proper tense after that. Like, what is this about? It's like, I'm just going in and out the elevator. No, this is getting too tense now. I'm gonna go elevator and chill out for a bit. You know, that's one area that dinosaurs can't get you, the elevator in the 3D section.
That was the palate cleanser for all the tense moments. But yeah, I remember me and my brother were like, when you get in the elevator, we're like, what the hell? Like, this seems so out of place.
It is out of place. Yeah, I found that to be a bit odd, but it's funny though. I don't begrudge that. I found that interesting to be in the game. I found that funny, to be honest. It needed a bit of comedy, this game, but yeah, okay. You enjoyed this game. You had it. You know, obviously you still yet to complete for obvious reasons, because I think this game is unforgiving, and you do need areas where it should be able to let you save, and I think that's where it really, you know, hits the wall for me. So Joe, your thoughts on Jurassic Park Super Nintendo? Let's go.
All right, Super Nintendo Jurassic Park. I mean, unlike the Mega Drive version, because the Mega Drive version, it feels like if you're gonna make Dino Crisis a 2D action platformer, it would have played just like the Mega Drive version. With the Super Nintendo one, it's like a combination of it plays like Doom when you go inside those special rooms, of course.
Yeah.
But whenever you are outside, it kind of plays like Legend of Zelda or Secrets of Evermore, or Terra Nigma. You know what I mean? Like those those top-down first-person RPGs kind of thing. I mean, first-player action RPGs kind of thing. Yeah. So very different from the Mega Drive version, to say the least. I would say I mean, to me, this one does not really give me the thrill or the fear, unlike the Mega Drive version, because I mean, to be honest, with Jurassic Park is like Die Hard with dinosaurs. Okay, so what you're selling here with Jurassic Park, when you see the movies, it's like survival horror. Trying to make sure you're avoiding all the dinosaurs trying to kill you. I get that with the Mega Drive here, because again, it's bright. Okay, I mean, yeah, sure, the dinosaurs are here as well, trying to get you. Most of the time, they're just doing their business. It's just you trying to intrude their territory, and I don't really particularly like all of those warning signs, like or those reminders. They're very repetitive. Would have been nice if it's just on the bottom of the screen, not on the top of the screen, almost like 3/4 of the screen there. Yeah, just like that. All those reminders, it kind of stops you from
when the dinosaurs attacking you. That's the most annoying thing about this.
It's very distracting. It's very distracting. I mean, to me, it's not. I mean, it's very unnecessary for them to do that. Just put them on the bottom of the screen. Sure. Once is enough. I mean, try to run if you see these dinosaurs. Yeah, get that. Shut up. Otherwise, and I'm thinking, if the game is stuck like on a like this, like on a Doom kind of gameplay, I'm thinking if the majority of the gameplay is kind of like this, would be, I mean, maybe uh I'll have a different opinion of it, because at least on this one, in this kind of gameplay, you don't know what kind of dinosaur you're going to encounter. You know what I mean? Unless you open the doors, then it's going to be a surprise. Oh shit, there's a dinosaur here, I should shoot. Unfortunately, most of the time they're just targets. They're just target practice to you. They're not really attacking you aggressively as you would imagined. But I would, gameplay wise, it offers a little bit more variety if we're going to judge it with that. So I would edge it to Jurassic Park Super Nintendo rather than the Mega Drive,
Oh,
because
that's
there's a lot more things to do here.
That's interesting. Okay, fair enough. There's a lot more variety. You got this obviously the 3D section, which I found a bit haphazard to navigate around. Again, what really is the deal breaker for me is the unforgiving nature of the Super Nintendo game, and the short aspects and no map.
Oh,
does the radar at the bottom do anything?
One more thing. I'm not sure if it's my emulate. If it's my emulate, I don't really emulate. I'm playing this on the EverDrive. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever I go to the Doom stages, it's very slow. I'm not sure
It
if
is slow.
it's slow for you guys.
No, it's slow. It's just because you have to understand this was like even Doom on the Super Nintendo is quite slow. Yeah, because this was like very new technology, and one of the things that whilst the Super Nintendo could scale and it could do this sort of effect, it was just slow at doing it. It's just the way it is. If you think that's bad, there's 3D levels on the SNES Robocop which are even worse. So this isn't too bad, to be honest, compared to what it is. But it's just the nature of it. The only thing you can sort of do to get around there faster is introduce a frame skip in the emulator to make it run a bit faster. But as you know, you lose something from the frame skip, but that's something else. But all right, so you think Jurassic Park on Super Nintendo is better? I think the Mega Drive game is better.
The Mega Drive is a lot scarier, yes, but in terms of variety, you have a lot more to do here.
Fair enough, but I just like the style of the game being a side scroller. I don't think that this game lends itself better to this sort of style of game. That's just my own personal view on it. What about you, Jose? What did you conclude with? What would you prefer?
The Super Nintendo one, hands down. It's a better for me. It's a better game. The Doom parts, while yes, they are slow, and yes, it is like it doesn't look the best now. I remember as a kid, it was like mind blowing to like have it change so drastically, and I loved it. I kind of want to play this now.
The issue I have with the SNES, like the SNES game, is like when you open the door, the dinosaur's just staring there, looking at you. That's not really true, is it? You know, it will come at you. So that's an issue I have with the SNES game as well.
But then the Genesis one has the same thing too, where they're just kind of standing there.
True. There are issues. They're fixed in a position, but they do attack you. They do attack you if you get close enough. They'll see you. I don't know. Maybe it's like they went by the whole rule of stay perfectly still, it won't see you. I don't know. Like in the film with the T-Rex. I don't know. I know Business Cat's made a few comments there. This always reminds me of Chaos Engine. Chaos Engine is a top-down shooting game by the Bitmap brothers, and they did Smash TV. And Chaos Engine was a game they did. I think there's in a Mega Drive version that as well we could have done anyway. So it's that. Does the radar at the bottom even do anything? Not seen anything on it yet. I don't know. I've not played the Super Nintendo version to that degree. We've got some other comments here, but I guess we'll read through it later. JDM says that he prefers the MD version. And then you have Juan Marvilla says that he prefers the SNES version of Robocop versus Terminator. So we got his verdict. But yeah, I think that's it really for today. I think we've pretty much gone through all these games and then given our views. I think this is the one that stands out as being the better one as far as the panel's concerned. But there's only three of us, so we've not really had much of a conclusion with this one. But due to Super Nintendo and Mega Drive, but I think all the other games, pretty much the Mega Drive was the favorite one, I think, to be fair, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, thank you for those of you who joined in the comment section. Thank you, Business Cat, and all the others who came and watched and made their comments clear in regards to their thing. I know there was another comment here by Kurt Labrado saying Aladdin different in SNES and Genesis. I was going to pick that as one of the games, but that's been done to death. I might do it in another episode if this is popular enough. Might do another one, but it's really interesting how at that time, like I said earlier, that these companies, made a totally different game for one system and another system. I think that's just really cool. I think that's awesome, and I think that's really, really interesting about that particular era, because when we talk about ports later on, these days, it's usually the same game. I think there's something really special about that. And yes, look, we've got someone saying The Adventures of Batman and Robin is another one. Yeah, there's a load that I went through as a list. I just curated ones which I thought were not so common, and people might not know that there was a different version that was completely different, fundamentally different from that version to the Super Nintendo one. But once again, thanks for joining us on this particular episode. Jose, any finishing thoughts for you?
Jurassic Park, SNES, the way to go. Shadowrun, play Shadowrun Returns. And then just to piggyback on Joe, Taz and Outrun, basically the same game.
What the hell is wrong with you guys, man? What do you do, man? That's like, listen, Business Cat made a point earlier in the comment section. Okay, and he goes,
They're basically the same game.
He said, that's like, Taz doesn't have magical sound shower, all right? And by that logic, Bubsy the Bobcat and Super Mario World are the same. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bloody same.
Basically.
Different games. How can you compare something as haphazard as Bubsy the Bobcat to something as precision-based and as colorful and as wonderful as Super Mario World? Same sort of thing with Outrun. A much more sort of direct, simplistic game. I get it, but you got to get to the checkpoint in time, and that's an arcade game. Whereas this thing is on a console. You want to have a bit more detail in there, a bit more elements of gameplay. Come on, man! You can't just be eating all the chicks before the time's run out.
Tasmania has the same time clock.
Whatever, man. It's not the same game, man. They're not the same.
Yeah, it is the same.
It's not the same. All right.
Anyways, let's do some shameless plugs.
And then
Right.
if you want
Outrun is a class in itself, all right, and the scaling is so much smoother. That's what I'll say. All right.
and if you want
Give
to
me
play,
that part.
if you want to play
the
another
scaling is smoother,
another
and the
version,
music is better on Outrun. The music is 10 times better than that Taz game. All right. Outrun has magical sound shower. Business Cat backed me up on that one. All right, we got magical sound shower. That's it. Outrun is a better game.
Guys, he has been wrong before. Okay,
Yeah.
don't really take what he's saying seriously.
Listen, yeah, you guys are crazy. That's what I'll say. Comparing Outrun to Taz, that's an outrage. You get lynched in the streets if you say things like this, man. You should yourself, yeah? You get.
It's a hot take, but we're not wrong with that assessment. Okay.
Look, I got Ryan. I got Ortega. He's saying, Outrun over Taz, Road Rash on difficulty. Okay, and then you got.
No, we're not talking about Road Rash. Okay, we're talking about Tasmania for Nintendo.
You got Passing Breeze on the Outrun, and if you got the Mega Drive one, I like Step On Beat. You got a really nice soundtrack on Outrun compared to this Taz game. All right.
Hey, again, let's ask Sir Dan and Sir Joel what they think. Okay.
Sir Dan will flipping kill you, bro.
We'll just ask everyone in the group chat what they think.
Sir Joel will be our shield. Okay.
So Joe ain't gonna shield you. He'll flipping kill you himself, mate. He'll be outraged because he loves Outrun too. I'll tell you that now. He'll take my side over you.
But all you're doing is saying that Outrun has music.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything else.
Hang on. You didn't listen to the points I made earlier about like the actual precision of the vehicle where you have to overtake. There's more obstacles in Outrun. It gets harder with the different.
And you don't do that in Tasmania?
Yeah, you have to avoid the bus, avoid the car, avoid the water, avoid the trees. It has twists and turns just like in the road.
When you finish a level in Tasmania, there's a break, isn't it, before you get to the next level? With Outrun, when you get to the checkpoint, you're still driving. You still got to get to the next stage. You're still driving. It gets harder, and then you get to the next stage. Outrun, then Tasmania, because you can take a pause. And
we're not talking about that. We're talking about basically you're just moving straight, curve, avoiding obstacles. That's it. They're basically the same game.
Business Cat says Outrun has a blonde babe. I said that earlier. The Kiwi equals the blonde babe. Your end goal at Outrun. Taz is just doing it on the way there. He's eating.
Yeah.
And you want to eat the blonde babe. when you get there.
It's a different kind of eating, and you know it. All right.
Sir Juan even agrees with that. See,
Fundamentally,
outrun and task
the
are
key
the
word is
same, no
eating.
debate.
John just listen. This guy, he just likes to do it to wind me up. That's why he's saying that. I'm not going to take him seriously. All right, he's crazy. Juan is just crazy. That's it. He's crazy. That's all. Anyway,
All right.
thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us on this on this wonderful comparison video. I hope it was just as much fun for you. Listen to us go on about these games as it was for us talking about them and discussing all the various differences and what we preferred, what we didn't prefer. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. So do you want to take it home, Joe?
All right. So yeah, 16-bit era games, guys. It's not the same as what we call nowadays with cross-platform. Okay, when we say PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Switch, they're basically the same game. Back in the old days, it doesn't necessarily mean like that exactly. Okay, different developers but taking the same IP name. All right. So yeah, we'll just do our shameless plugs. Sir Jose, where can they touch your? Oh, where can they? Where can they out your run?
You guys can find me here every week on the Timeless Gamer Show. Every first Saturday of the month, we will be doing our Saturday Smart Talk episode. You can find me on all socials as Dark Gothic Fate, all gaming platforms as Dark Gothic Fate. The Smart soundtrack that me and Juan, that I co-produced with Juan, is coming soon to all music platforms. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jose, and of course, Sir Raj. Where can they run you out?
You can run me out, right? That's a cricket saying, isn't it? Run out, get run out. Yeah, I'll be trading at the London Game Market next Saturday. For those of you in the UK, I know none of you are going to come anyway, you gits. So next Sunday, that's the 22nd of March. That's next London Game Market. You can find me on Twitter under Bygone Games UK. You can find me there. You can find me on this channel because I do frequent it every now and then when they have topics that are interesting, which they do these days. And on the Sega Genesis group on Facebook, you'll find me there as well. So yeah, Power Run equals Tasmania SNES or whatever, man. You're crazy. Wind up. This channel is full of piss takers and wind up merchants. That's what they are. Anyway, good fun. Right.
All right. So that's the episode, guys. Thank you all so much for staying this long, staying tuned to the program, and hopefully we will have Sir JDM and Sir Joe will be back next on the next episode next week. All right, and thank you all so much. And as always, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey, how much? There you go.
Goodbye,
See you
everyone.
guys. Bye. Thank you all so much.